I'm going to do something a little bit differently, and I'm going to recap this time.
Wow.
Yeah.
About time, you
so,
lovable DM.
so the last time, while the odd occurrences at the fest commemorating the end of a historic session of the assemblage chevron were still raging outside along Liberty Square, worsened took a different route. He went to the Amguedfa Museum, spent some time researching elves, and he learned a bit more about their use of crystal, how they draw magic from it, how they use it to glorify their a goddess of ambition and creation, Thled. But also how that crystal can be a double-edged sword, how it has driven some of them to weakness, to emaciation, to even destruction. But in the course of all of this research, he found something else very interesting, stories of a different type of crystal that Baxterian brought back with him from the north to his new castle in present day West Ardoyne, which, as the notes seem to imply, was not quite as new as general history would suggest. Something that was already there, and what's more, was guarded by another force. Though the history research that he could find was from books archaic and inspecific, difficult to follow. But with that, all of this research, he returned, and there was a bit of strife, a bit of tension within Chambers boarding house between the members of the group over what they would do, over whether they should engage with all of these plots going in the city, whether they had a moral duty to do something about it, given all of the information and resources at their disposal versus the relative ignorance of the average citizen, the worry that innocence would pay for something that they did not even understand, or Alistair's rejoinder that no one in the city was really innocent. Uh, the group divided, as is their wont. Um, Dawn introduced Alcana to Pierre Stanier at the Temple of Nani, and Alcana had a moment of reflection and prayer in the relatively peaceful setting. Logie and Notrix headed out to the celebratory sermon at the Interfaith Church, one where Alcana had been invited a few times to speak, but she ended up declining. While they were there, they spotted some odd activity across the street at the Surgeons Guild, crates full of things that were smooth and hard and cool and brownish in crates full of straw, labeled with the insignia of the Grey Forge, the largest company in the world, head of the Dwarven Mining Consortium, and oddly enough, being being overseen by a mourner. But anyways, with this odd tableau aside, they went in, they took in a sermon predictably full of propaganda. Afterwards, they got up and spoke a bit with Prior Olin Sinclair, who gave them his spiel about Corvith, known to the leprechauns, companion of Carhine, uh, who has a rather interesting form and for whom most of the worship has died out, but there are still a few pockets, and servant of the Shaper of Spheres, a concept that still seems a little bit murky. They also investigated the altar to the Bastard God. And Alistair and Werson maybe had the most interesting jaunt of all, heading to the prison, and with some well-placed forgery and persuasion on the part of Alistair, aka Oliver, and some shenanigans from Werson, aka Akaranu, they weaseled their way into a brief interview with the elf being held on death row, set to be executed in the afternoon the following day. Werson found out that her name is Airless, and that oh wow, I never put that together. Yeah, they did both go back to prison. Uh, was airless, and that she, uh, relatively hostile after being imprisoned and having these charges brought against her, presumably, or at least to her account, just for being an elf, um, that there was something beneath Ardoin, something dangerous, something tied to the smoke, something that was enough to ward the other elves who would have used the still living Tyrus to maybe make an attempt on Ardoin away from the kingdom, to not even attempt to come over the mountains. Um, and what else was interesting about that? The Pentarchy came out. But anyways, yeah, they with this dire warning. Oh yeah, and the tree. But anyways, with this dire warning, Akaranu and Oliver left the prison, though in a turn towards a very dark sociopathy, they swore to each other that they would tell no one about this. This would remain their secret. Meanwhile, and here, if if the four of the rest of you, if I say something that you disagree with, then go ahead and stop me.
All
But
right, then. Sounds like a plan.
yeah, but anyways, meanwhile, Alcana, Don, Notrix, Logi uh, returned to Chambers' boarding house, and Notrix, sort of leading the charge, decided that this elf had to be the key to something, that there had to be some reason that such a high profile prisoner would be slated to be killed so quickly. So he resigned to try to break this elf out. And Alcana, you have spent a few moments in the city trying to reflect, trying to find peace. You have been racked by doubt, by indecision over what you are. But in this last jaunt to the Temple of Nani, you notice that in invoking the wisdom of Saradomin, the same thing interrupted you as it did before when you made the same uh, sought for direction and peace in the graveyard of another church. The sound of the horns and the pillar of smoke rising from the west, never quite reaching over to the east of the city. And with how many times it's happened, it feels almost like a sign, as if perhaps that's the guidance that's meant to direct you. But you found it easier, especially with the need for more support, more bodies on the ground, to aid Notrix and Logi in their scheme to break out this elf. Now, I would like for one of you to spend a point of foresight, one of the four of you, Don, Alcana, Logi, and Notrix, because if you're going to the prison, now it's not technically hidden information, things like a general layout of the prison, notes on its construction, but is the kind of thing that would take a bit of effort to acquire. And I think it's feasible that one of you may have done that in your time in the city, looking at this and taking note of this elven prisoner, but it's something that I'd say would cost a point of foresight to do, to make you, give you a little bit less blindness going in, or at least to know that the high profile, high security area of the prison is underground, adjacent to the sewers. So would one of you like to spend a point of foresight to know that?
I don't have any.
Don can do it. He has a lot, and I feel like he's seasoned in breaking out of prisons.
All right, Don. So mark off a point of foresight. So with Don as kind of your guide, Don, having spent a lot of time in the sewers after getting lost, after finding the friends of Elena, has a bit better of a perspective on how to actually get around here, how to find an entrance into the sewers where you can enter under cover of night with fair amount of confidence of not being spotted, with Notrix's very adept powers of perception. You all manage to take the meager prison plans you've found, Dawn's expertise into the sewers, and make your way down into the labyrinthine sewer system of Ardoyne, through underneath its cobblestone streets, to a point where you are close, you know, to the Kandarin Central Prison.
All right.
With that, I'm going to go ahead and change this card.
Okay.
Here we go.
Would we have time for a short rest before going to this prison?
Sure.
And would we have time to procure some clothing that isn't our normal clothing, so we're not breaking into somewhere and looking exactly like ourselves?
I mean, I think it might not be in your character sheet, but I think it's been established that you don't have a single change of clothing. That you probably have like, a simple burlap cloak or something.
We change into our sneaky pair of clothing.
Ah, yeah.
Stealth
Well,
mode.
about as sneaky as some of us can get, anyway.
Hmm.
But anyhow,
So Dawn, you have led these three down into the sewers. What are you guys doing?
Well, I'd assume that in order to get up top, Don would know some sewer systems and like or maybe not sewer systems, but like pipe ventilation systems. Like he would probably know a lot about how to actually get on top. So I would say Don first would scout. Like maybe he would enter the area where he knows that he's gonna get into like large humans into the prison, and then scout it out, make sure there's no like guards around, or make sure figure out if there are any guards around the entranceway that Don has scouted out.
So, you have to go deeper into the sewers, into a part where you have to wade a place where it's practically thigh deep, putrid waters to get underneath this, where at least on what sketchy plans you've been able to acquire would indicate the
What?
higher security part of the prison, because most of it is in the same level as the majority of the sewers. And Don, just from a cursory investigation, you find that there's not a very easy looking passage into that part of the prison. Most of what you can find are fairly narrow pipes that you may be able to squeeze through, but that are also just absolutely foul. Though I'll let
Ugh.
you roll an investigation check to see if you come up with anything else.
Let me see. Oh, sorry. Give me a second. Roll 20 is being slow.
Oh no.
No.
no!
Hey,
Oh,
knock
at
it
least it's not
off.
Technical
Discord.
difficulties.
Yeah, better than the Discord. I can always roll it in Discord if you want me to.
Sure. So Alcana, Notrix, and Logi, what are you guys doing?
I'm thinking that probably Elkanah is probably just trying to, well, how are we seeing down here, by the way? I mean, besides the person with dark vision.
Um, I mean, you guys have torches. One of you could have lit a torch, though. One of you could have also cast dark vision. What do you think?
Yeah.
I'd suggest down here maybe we would have lit the torch just to save our resources.
Okay. But
Just because no one's gonna see us down here. We could be flimsy with
I'm
our
thinking that at
lights.
this point, Elkanah is just kind of hanging back until they've sort of picked their method of entry, so that whenever they've scoped that out, she can stand watch.
and I don't know about you, but sewers, underground sewers, they seem pretty cavernous, don't they? Hmm?
Bruh.
I don't know.
But oh yeah, Rhonda, I got a 15 in Discord and a 7 in Roll20. So I'll let
Well,
you decide which one you want to
I'll
take.
take the 15 because that's what I was going to take, and I was actually
Yeah.
just checking your sheet to see what your bonus is. So that would be a 16. So does Dawn try to squeeze into one of these absolutely foul caked pipes?
Don looks at the group and says, "I think this is the only way in there."
Well, once we know that it's safe and how far you have to go, then it should be fairly easy to teleport inside.
Yes,
Shoot.
just don't
All right.
don't yell at any guards on
Yes,
the
and
other
we
side.
can make sure that everyone is cleaned off because, well, I don't think any of us would feel like going to bed after walking around in, well, this.
Ugh,
Well-
I feel ya. All right. I like take a. He takes a deep breath in, kind of holds his breath, and yep, he walks in.
Yeah, you crawl your way through this pipe. Um, probably about, probably I'd say about 4 or 5 meters until you finally see a point of not quite light, but at least not the absolute crushing foul darkness that you've been crawling through. As you very cautiously poke your head out, your head not looking very attractive at this moment, you see that you are in the corner of a cell, an empty cell, and it's dark in here. You can see one torch mounted on a wall somewhere outside of the cell, a fair distance from you. It's difficult to see around. You can vaguely see a couple cells over the slumped form of someone sleeping on a pallet, though it's difficult to say. Though, as you poke out, you can feel just as your wings start to unfurl a little bit out of the ickiness that they're weak. It's that same weakness that you felt in the underneath Fort Olthus. That within this cell, your wings don't you don't have that same power of magic to buoy you.
Anti-magic. Uh, when Don emerges, he's gonna kind of sneak to like one corner, like towards the bars, and he's just gonna look around for any, like once he sees the person some on a plate, he's gonna look around just for any guards that might in the same room or hallway as him.
All right, I need Dawn to make a stealth check.
Stealthy. Why?
I need to check the passive perception here. Sorry, I should have had that ready to go. Ooh.
Didn't sound
So,
good.
as you start, what's that?
I was
Oh.
just going to say that that sounded like a bad oof.
Yeah. So, as you start sneaking out of this pipe towards the bars, you suddenly see a figure whom you hadn't noticed before, kind of sitting right underneath that torch. The way that the shadow is cast, it makes that almost the darkest part of the room underneath, paradoxically, almost invisible figure holding what looks like a halberd. And he sort of looks towards the cage, just so you can tell from the movement of the head. Starts these heavy booted stomps over towards where you are.
Ooh. You know what? The moment he does that, I want to turn into a ferret and run back to the pipe.
You try to turn into a ferret, you can't.
I can't. Oh, that's right. I run back to the pipe.
All right. You run back to the pipe. Make just a straight dexterity check for me to see how well you're able to do this.
All right.
Yeah, you quickly scurry and dive full on head first into the pipe. It's awful. But then you hear him kind of stop outside of the cage, outside of the bars, kind of peer in. Damn rats. He stomps back away. And a few seconds later, you hear the creak of wood as he plops down again in that chair.
Hmm. There are. Okay. Don peeks his head out again. He's annoyed. He's disgusting. He's gonna He's gonna.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
this cell itself, since you got out and got a little bit better of a look, there is there's straw on the ground. The ground itself is made of just heavy stone. There is a threadbare hessian blanket in one corner, and just what looks like a little bit of that same straw that's on the ground stuffed into a bit of cloth. It's like a pallet to sleep in. And there's what looks like a small uh, like wooden tablet, almost like a cutting board, that's just been attached with a couple of thick leather bands to one side of the bars to serve as just a little makeshift table. Um, there are manacles hanging above the back wall, but just from the look of them, from the little bit of light, now that your eyes have adjusted, they look like they haven't been used in a very, very long time. And you can indeed see that close to you in cells like 2 cells away, there's what looks like one man asleep. And then across from that cell, another a rather well built older man who's just kind of sitting listlessly in his cage.
Hmm. So that guy's awake, right?
Seems to be from the way he's sitting.
Hmm. Dawn kinda has an idea. Okay. So,
Is it a good idea?
possibly. So how far away is uh the cell with the man sleeping?
From where you are, 15 feet away. These cells are about 10 by 10.
10 by 10. Okay. So like maybe one cell. Uh. So Don has. Okay, tell me if this is weird, but Don in his uh inventory has a tinderbox, right? Maybe it's like
Right?
smaller or something. I don't know.
Sure.
So it's possible that he could like start a fire, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, what is the guard's line of sight? If you were to run over to the cage with someone with the guy sleeping, would he be in his line of sight? If you were to make that break for it?
Um, I'm not sure I understand. So if he's looking in at the cage of the guy sleeping,
Like is that where he's looking basically? Yeah.
it seems like almost like there's a corridor. Actually, let me go ahead and make a very quick and dirty diagram.
Ah, yeah. That'd be nice. Just a
Almost
little
as
layup.
dirty as Dawn.
Almost.
Look, man, sometimes you gotta make dirty deeds and do it dirty.
You see, it would be so much nicer if I had my magic right now, but
Well, that's
it's not
always the
working.
thing.
It's always a thing. Oh! Ah, adorable. Zoom in on this. So like six, like 3 facing each other, right? Ooh. Look at that hallway.
And
That's a very sharp corner.
yeah, it's fine. But anyways, uh, the guy and the torch would be right up here. The
Right.
guard. Here is one of the prisoners. Here's the sleeping one. Here's the one that just seems like a listless space cadet. And here is where you are.
Oh. So, wait, you said here is where I am?
Yeah, yeah. As a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and add some things on here to make it more.
Yeah. I could draw a
They
little.
are not that huge.
Ugh.
You are not in a prison full of giants.
I mean, they are giants to him.
Yeah,
I guess
actually.
so.
Everyone's a giant.
Everyone's a giant. Except for him, he's small. But he has a sword, so.
They might be giants.
There he is. Fucking Don.
He was bigger than everyone for a second.
Yeah, so that's what this layout is like right now.
Okay. And this is a sleeping guy. This is the one that I don't know who it is.
Yeah.
In that case. Oh, wait. Don wants to. He's gonna try to sneak into this cell
Mm-hmm.
by, like, very closely hugging the wall. And just, like, whoop! Like, slipping in. And I'm sure there's gonna be, like, some hay and such.
All right. So kind of using the hay and really trying to hug the wall.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think I'd even need to make you roll for that. Don, he's not buzzing along with his wings. He's like right there in the shadow where the torch doesn't reach. So yeah, you managed to sneak into through the bars and into the next cell.
Okay. Now I want to try to do the same, but for this cell.
This time, that's closer.
Yeah, that's
You're going to need to make, another stealth check.
Yay!
Yeah, you manage to kind of duck very carefully underneath the bars and evade the guard, who you can just see right now is sitting underneath this torch, one hand limply on his halberd, kind of scratching his chin, looking more bored than anything.
Right. So as Don is in gear, he's gonna just make sure the guy is fastly asleep. Okay,
Seems to be breathing
so
very steadily.
he's sleeping on hay, right?
Yeah, like kind of a rough mattress stuffed with hay, but it's clear that the hay is spilling out of it.
Yeah. Don doesn't totally want to hurt this guy. But okay, is there any more hay around the room, or is it just the bed?
No, there's kind of a bit of hay strewn all across the floor.
You know what? Don wants to try to gather a little bit of it.
Yeah, you get a little armful of hay.
You know what? It's not gonna hurt. It's not gonna kill the guy. I'm gonna go to like the foot of the bed where the guy's feet are, right? And I'm gonna just quickly light a little candle, or a candle, what? Light a little match, put it there, then sprint back. And like I wanna like sprint, hug the wall, go back to this cell.
Okay, so very carefully, get out your tinder box. You get the sort of the sticks, the dry kindling that you rub together. Very carefully, get a little bit of smoke going, a little spark, and the hay starts to burn, you see that little orange glow turn into a small flame, and then you sprint away as that flame immediately captures the guard's attention. Having made this distraction, make another stealth check, but this time with advantage.
Okay. Yay!
Yeah, he is kind of up on his feet and he's looking in, and you see him. He kind of slaps his halberd against the bars and he says, "Hey, you in there! What the hell did you do?" And the guy's who you now see as an old man with a bit of a beard. What? And quickly you see the guard getting out his keys and putting it into the lock.
And once the guard like goes into the cell, I just want Don to make like a little mad dash to this cell.
All right, the guard, his attention is very much distracted at this moment going in there. So yeah, Don manages to do that, make a mad dash into the other cell. So
All
as
right,
you get in
nice.
there, yeah, you see this man, yeah, muscular, bit of a scar on his face, a short hair that's going kind of a steel gray. And his eyes just follow you as you come in, but he doesn't say anything.
Oh, this is not okay. This is a guy?
Yeah, it's not the elf.
Right. Don looks at him, kind of. Wait, so he sees Don come in.
He does, yeah.
Don looks at the guard and back at the guy, and God damn it, he is going to try to put a finger over his mouth, like shush, please.
You see the guy give a little half shrug.
Okay, Don. He's a little sigh of relief. Is he still distracted?
Yeah, right now you see that the guard has actually taken off the short cape that's part of his uniform and is kind of using it to tamp down the fire, and the old man is kind of just standing up and on the other side of the cell.
In that case, Don kind of wants to like do the same thing, hug the wall, and like he's just gonna run down here and check every cell.
All right, make a perception check for Dawn.
Okay, perception. Nice. Wait. Oh, 7.
Ooh!
If only.
And yeah, if only. Trying to think, is there any situation where you would have advantage on that?
Well, he is, or what's it called? I mean, I'm sure it's pretty easily enough. Don can like look inside to see if there's a person inside, right?
I
Like, is
just
there
did
any reason that?
I just did a private roll for wisdom for the prisoner. So he's going to try something very foolhardy in this moment.
Oh no.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, you see as you are going and checking between these cells for a minute that the prisoner who's in the first cell, he looks at the guard and he launches himself forward and tries to tackle him. And for the second, this guard kind of tosses him off and is grappling him. At this moment, Dawn, this gives you the sort of the break in the action that you need to make a much fuller check. And you see at the end of this corridor in the last cell is not actually asleep, but legs crossed, almost seeming to be in a trance, her eyes open wide, is a woman with white, straggly hair. And you look in, and her features seem slightly wrong for her face. The eyes a little bit too big, the nose maybe slightly too long. But after a second, she sort of, her eyes focus and she looks at you. And then she kind of just whispers something in a language you don't understand.
Don looks over to the guard and he's gonna He's gonna step into the cage, like not too much, and just go hey ya.
Then her eyes narrow, and she says, "You are one of the Fey folk. And what is one of the Fey folk doing in here?"
Well, my name is Don. Hey, nice to meet you. And
I've never been an abuser given to hallucinations.
no, I'm not a hallucination. Even though a lot of
I
people
know
tend to
you
think
are not a hallucination. That is what I just said.
that. Right.
Speak quickly on what you are.
My name is Don. I'm a fairy, and it's hard to explain, but we want to try to help you escape. Me and my friends were trying to figure out what's going on in this city, and we think that the Ardoin government wanting to kill you so fast, it probably means you know something about them, right?
More than you could imagine. Roll a persuasion check, Don.
Hey.
She kind of looks back over. So you started a fire in the prison, in the maximum section of the prison, and that is somehow going to get me out.
uh, well, not now, but it was more of a way to distract the guards to, you know, for me to talk to you. The guy in that prison cell's fine, I think.
And you look back and you see that at this point the guard has like pushed the prisoner up against his bars and is actually reaching for the manacles and is starting to lash one of his hands there.
Yeah, he's safe. But basically, me and my friends, I was to sit up here to scout out what exactly the terrain looks like, and well, uh, I just wanted to come in to let you know that we want to help you escape. And well, it's hard to after until I like really scale out this place and figure out what a good exit point for you is. You might not be totally aware of any plans we have, but uh, we'll try our hardest. All right?
She raises an eyebrow at you. She finally says in a whisper, "I am somewhat loath to trust the words of the Fey folk. I have had bad experiences with those on the other sides of the mountain who consort with such forces, but it's not like I have very many options. And at this point, well, perhaps this hope, however false it is all the hope that that I can expect to find. I don't know how I can help to free myself when I am here stuck behind bars."
And hey, if it makes you feel any better, I'm not from just beyond the mountain. I'm from the moon.
Eyebrows furrow. Well, do you have a plan beyond when the guard over there finishes lashing up the other prisoner?
Like I said, I'm gonna scout out the place. Try to find a route. Try to path our little escape plan, but
How did you get in here?
through the pipes and the sewers.
Her eyes glance towards the hole in the corner of her own cell. She says, I have to admit, in my more desperate moments, my thoughts have strayed that way, though even one as lithe as myself could not fit through these pipes. Though I am not given to such excesses as the other prisoners, if you need to go through the pipes, I suggest you do it through the pipe in this cell.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, that's probably better than sprinting over there again. And part of me thinks you don't want to go through there. Trust me. And I look at my poor tuxedo. And
The walls down here are near impenetrable. As far as I know, there is only one entrance into and out of this part of the prison. It is past where the guard sits, up some stairs.
upstairs. Hmm.
There's a heavy barred door up there. I cannot say whether or not it is locked.
Hmm. And you know, I saw that guard uh use some keys before. If only there was a way for me to make him fall asleep and like snatch those keys from him.
Well, if you want him to sleep, you are not going to do it through any sort of magic in here.
I know. I can barely fly because of it. Hmm.
When Don went between the two rows of cells, like outside of the cell, did he feel like his wings become stronger again? Like, because Weston was able to walk around out there, transformed into Dakarani.
Oh, good question.
Yeah, but his wings did not, in fact, feel stronger.
Can Don and he didn't oh yeah, when I was running down here, I guess he never noticed that like his magic strength came back a little.
It didn't seem to.
How weird. Hmm. Well, alright, good to know that those bar doors that door is there. Can I check on the guard over here? Like what's he doing?
Right now, the guard still seems occupied. Like he's pushed, kind of neutralized this prisoner, though it seems like he's having a bit of trouble working these manacles. As I said, the manacles don't look like they've been used for a very long time. At this moment, his back is still turned to where you are.
And he's inside the cell, right?
Yes, I'll
Hmm.
move him so he's more inside.
Damn. And where are his keys? I'm like,
They seem to be on his waist. He used them to open up that door, and now he's using them to mess with these manacles.
right, okay. Um, I turn to prisoner friend, and I say, do you know where that door leads? Just to the upstairs, or
Upstairs, it leads to the rest of the prison.
hmm. How many floors of the prison are
Including this one, there should be 4.
there? And we're on the absolute bottom.
Well, right now we are below street level. No windows, no daylight. They want us to be ill. They want us to be scared when we're finally taken out of here.
Hmm. Well, for now, why don't I do something to uh fix that a little bit? And Don is gonna cast what's it called?
Remember, we
Goodberry.
can't cast things
Okay.
here.
Yeah, you try to cast good berry, no berries appear.
uh, never mind. Maybe later I could bring you some. But yeah, for now, let me scout out the area. Uh, till then, I'll speak to you soon, okay? Another
She
week.
gives, yeah, just half a nod.
Don's gonna peek out.
All
And
right.
is this just a dead end?
Yeah, that's a dead end. That's a wall there.
Okay. Don is going to run up, peek, see how the guard's doing.
Yeah, the guard seems to have gotten one of the manacles around that guy's hands, and right now is struggling with the other one. It's practically rusted shut, so he's kind of having to use both hands. It seems like he's distracted for at least the next couple of minutes.
All right, Don wants to run up here. Boop. And he's gonna okay, I see. He's gonna like look over at the uh this door. He wants to see what it looks like. What it feels like.
Yeah, so you see up here start some stairs, and then up at the top, you can see through this heavy grating a door, and past that door, a little bit of light, natural light, not the torchlight, the very meager torchlight down here, but it seems like you can see through that barred door like a wall and a little bit of what must be moonlight that's cut with the silhouette of bars shining beyond it.
Huh.
No, it doesn't seem like that bar, like that door goes to the outside, but like that door goes into a room that has windows.
Ah, interesting. We like windows. If only. Mm, damn. Is there a way that Don could like somehow open this door? Like maybe like jump up, use his wings to kind of get at the handle and try to jimmy it open.
The door at the top of the steps.
Yeah.
So as Don kind of flits up the steps, and like his wings can carry him, but it's the kind of thing where I'll need to make,
Like a strength
make
throw.
checks to keep flying because
Yeah.
it's a bit strenuous. You get up to the door. It's actually the bars are wide enough that you can slip through them.
Oh, is the door like so the door is like bars, right?
Yes, it's a barred door.
It's a barred door. Okay. In that case, I slip through.
Hmm.
I just want to like. I'm gonna like try my best to fly up to the window and just look outside, see like what
Yeah,
happens if you
actually,
jump out this window.
as you go past that door and you try to fly again, you feel like you can fly much more easily.
Ah,
Once you are, yeah, at this point, you go up these steps and you are outside of this basement level, and it seems like, yeah, suddenly the magic is available to you again.
there we go. All right, I'm just gonna look around, make sure there's no guards, and then fly up to the window, just because I want to see like is the window barred? Is it just glass? Is it openable?
You can see it seems to be a heavily barred window. And as you go up to it, peek through, you catch the sound of distant footsteps down the hall. This seems to be a hallway, and a little further down, more cells start.
Okay. In that case, Don is going to backtrack a little and come down here.
All
Maybe
right,
like
yeah.
jump,
You
jump,
retreat
jump.
back through, and as soon as you're through that door, you feel your flight becomes far more sluggish. You have to kind of get back down onto the steps themselves.
Yeah. All right. I peek over. How's the guard doing? Still.
Seems to have gotten this manacle open and is starting to figure out how to work the rusted out mechanism.
In that case, sprint, sprint, sprint. I'm gonna run over to here,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna tell her, okay, I scouted at the top, and it looks like the window. Like the moment you walk out that door, like all magic comes. First of all, which is good for us. Second of all, uh, we oh, there's a window there, so it's possible that somehow we could get you out that window. If only we could break those bars, you know? That's a possible escape plan. You know, uh I might go back to my friends and talk to them a little bit about it. Uh but for now, like I said, sit tight.
Actually, Don, make a Make a perception check.
Perception. Yay!
Yeah, this is a slight retcon. I should have mentioned it before, but when you went up to the window to check it out, you noticed across from that window, and that window was high up, like about 8 feet in the air, like above where a person could actually reach it. That across from there seemed to be a a small wooden panel in the opposite wall, close to the ceiling.
Small wooden panel. You mean like an opposite wall closest to ceiling? Oh, wait, that's weird. Almost like a little footstool?
Just like a little panel in the wall.
A wooden panel on the wall. And that was outside the window, right?
Uh, Inside, but like across the hall, like the
Across the
opposite side. You've got a hallway one side, you've got a window 8 feet up. The other side, you've got this panel up at the ceiling.
Hmm. You know, can I spend a point of foresight to yeet myself back over here to check
Uh,
that out? Or
oh no, it's saying something weird about my connection to roll 20.
ah,
Oh no, it's fine again. Um, I won't make you spend a point of foresight for that, but since I didn't say it at the moment, but I will say to do that, you're going to need to make another stealth check because you did hear footsteps starting to come down the hall at that moment.
I mean, can't you just go outside the window because he can now fly again and just not be visible at all?
shoot. Can I try to like when I do that stealth check, can I also like fly out the window?
Sure, yeah.
Whee! Stealth.
I'll give you a. Oh, I was gonna say I was gonna give you a cover bonus for being able to fly out the window, but no, you don't even need it. Yeah, you easily zip, yeah, out of the window. Um, you hear the footsteps approach, stop, turn on their heel, walk away again.
Hmm. Once I notice that they're far away enough, I want to peek back in. Make sure the guard isn't there.
Yeah, the guard's not in that hall.
I want to fly up to the panel, just examine it.
All right, it seems to be a very simple wood, very nondescript. It's the kind of thing that you wouldn't even notice. Your eyes would just kind of glance over.
It just feels weird that it's wood. Can I like kick it or press it? Do something with it?
Um, yeah, you try to manipulate it and you can feel that there are hinges underneath, though it seems like there's some kind of a almost as if it's on a spring or something. Do you try to lift it?
Sure.
Make an athletics check.
Athletics. Nice.
You are a tiny fairy. What the hell are you doing trying to lift this?
Okay. You know what? I've done enough examining for now. I see these mechanisms, and I'm gonna fly back to. What's her name again? Eris?
Well, she didn't tell you her name, so
That's
you don't
true.
know.
I don't know. Okay, can I don't know if I have to do the whole thing of checking the guard again.
No, you
'Cause,
you did that
foresight.
already. But yeah,
Okay.
now we're back to this is a little just a little addendum to what happened a couple minutes ago. But yeah, you're back here with Airless, with this elf, this ratty white haired elf.
I also saw this like wooden panel thing. It had like a mechanism on it, but I don't think it was important.
Hmm. Just a mechanism. You can't say anything more than that.
It had these springs on it. I tried to lift it, but you know, had these springs. It was wood.
Could be linked to the plumbing here.
Ooh,
Or could
really?
be something else. I am not certain.
It could be. Okay, can Don think back to the prison days? And you said that he saw the lever for like the magic, like
That's
the
right.
anti-magic field. Can he compare
Mhm.
that and have little like gears click into his head?
It's difficult to say because what you saw back then was an actual big honking lever. This is a wooden panel in the wall. You don't know what could be behind it.
Hmm. It might be something related to the magic field. Just taking shots at the duck. I don't know. You know what? Let me
I'm gonna
check
roll an
my.
intelligence check.
What was that?
I said I'm gonna make an intelligence check for her.
Yay.
She's
Ah.
not super intelligent. He says, perhaps. I don't really know too much about that. She kind of just gives you an appraising look. This does not feel like a real thing. This feels like something that is a fever dream. It feels like I know it is not a hallucination. I know that this is not sleep. I do not sleep, but there's something strange to all of this.
To me being a fairy or to everything else?
Everything.
Right.
She gives a glance towards the guard and she says, he won't be distracted for too much longer.
Okay, you're right. I might want to hop down, have a conversation with my friends, but what's your name again?
Airless.
Alice. Hi, I'm Don. I think I said that already, but hey, I'll say it
Dawn the
again.
Fairy, Airless of Clan Malier.
Nice to meet you. All right. Don's gonna walk over to the pipe, and
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna say, I'll be right back, okay?" And
She
hop in.
doesn't respond. She just looks at you.
Yeah,
But yeah,
hop in.
done. You pop back into the pipe. It's horrible, but not quite as horrible as it was going the other way. And finally, back out into the sewers and find your way to your three companions with their lit torch still waiting for you.
Blah, blah.
Wait, did
Yeah,
did Don take the same pipe or the pipe from the elf's room?
The pipe
elf's
from
room.
the elf's room, though, I'd say it wouldn't be too hard coming out of that to still find where all of you are.
Whew. Those pipes are horrible, by the way.
That's to be
Is where
expected.
What was that, Luke?
where did you come out? Did you find the elf?
Yeah, it did. I entered through a different pipe in a different cell, but then I found the elf lady. Eris? Eris. Yeah.
Great. If you just know how long that pipe is, then I can just teleport her out, right?
Not exactly. There is a anti-magic field,
Oh,
Of course.
but I looked around, and on the top floor, the only thing I was really able to find was a wooden panel, and I tried to lift it, but I couldn't. But it just looked like it had something behind it. It might have been uh, it might have been connected to the magical anti-magic field. You know what I mean? That or the plumbing.
That's not a
ah,
bad assumption. How are we going to, well, not to insult you, but you don't exactly look like the kind of... Never mind.
Dawn tries to flex a little harder than normal. But yeah, he puts a finger to his chin and strokes it and says, yeah. There is also a window up there, so maybe one thing could always be teleporting there. There's one guard, so if we wanted to, we could probably overtake him. But we might cause a lot of noise if you teleport teleport heat like towards the door, then you take down a guard who has a halberd, and yeah.
Did
Best
At
thing would
least
be to
attention possible is the ideal way.
best thing to do, I feel like, would be to take out the magic field and have Loki teleport her out.
Yeah, something along those lines. I guess if we can get up to the window, and this window's open to the open air. So
And I could use the visibility, so I could always search around a little more, make sure that's totally the anti-magic field. If not, I'll keep searching. And if we can find it, maybe hey, Loki, how many times can you teleport?
Twice easily, although I could teleport more, but it's going to be very taxing. If I teleport more than that, I don't think I can be much use in a fight.
well, hopefully
Nothing a
we
little bit
won't be
of
fighting.
healing could help?
Yes, that's the thing. If I try to teleport more than twice, then I hurt myself.
So then it sounds like we might want to save that for actually getting her out.
I also have two uses of the cloud spell, which has been so useful so far. That is
Excellent.
almost as good as a teleport in some situations. You get people through very, very tight gaps.
If we split up and send you outside to the window, could you float inside and maybe try to open that box? Or panel, I mean?
I suppose I could.
I'll cast invisibility on you the moment you come out of a, cloud form.
Oh, well, that would be. That definitely would help
Yeah.
if there is a guard around. Although, maybe we don't want to use up one of those cloud form just yet. It's possible that I could turn into a spider and Don could carry me up there. That might be a more efficient use of resources.
Yeah, you're right. That'll work too.
Didn't Dawn try to wild shape down there and it failed?
Well, I couldn't do it on the bottom floor, but on the top floor? First floor? I could do it there.
Yeah, someone's right in the window. Can have a look at this panel, and if it is something that can help us, well, we'll work from there. And if it is very fortuitous and it is the thing that controls anti-magic or whatever, well, once that's down, we can honestly we can just go inside the prison, the basement, probably very easily dispatch the guard, and well, release all the prisoners, and then we can call to Loki to help teleport them out there, and I guess probably cloud form the other two if we want to help them, because I mean, if we have the chance, we might as well. Unless they're like actually murderers or something.
Yeah, I
But
wonder what
I
those
don't
guys
know.
are actually in for.
I'm kind of assuming most people are political prisoners at this point.
How would you contact me through the wall?
I was kind of just thinking of shouting down a toilet, but maybe that won't work.
I suppose if we get that far, you could simply go through the pipe as a cloud.
Yeah, we could always have. What if the moment the moment Natrix turns off the magic force field, I could fly down and give you the signal.
Oh yes, Don can. We know Don can go in between the two places.
Yeah, because I'll still be invisible. So in that case, I'll be able to just fly in any pipe, whatever. I don't have to worry about the god. Tell you that the coast is clear. And bring it in.
Great. Well, that
And
leaves figuring out what to do with the elf afterwards, but we can figure that out when we get there.
I think that would be up to her.
yeah, the best thing would be to what's it called? Bring it into the sewers, because I mean, I don't think any of the guards are expecting anyone to be in the sewers. We could have some downtime there to talk, but for now at least, we know an escape plan.
Yes.
Yes. Was Don was the elf shackled in the cell?
Not
She
in
wasn't.
this- She was not. No, she didn't have any shackles on her hands or anything.
No. Like
Okay.
you see, there are shackles in all the cells, but all of them were going unused. That's kind of why the guard had so much trouble undoing the other ones to put the prisoner who tried to tackle him in there.
Ah, yeah. Don says, nope. She was free.
All right, then this should go fairly smoothly.
All right.
Well,
Okay.
I'll be keeping watch here to make sure that, well, nothing goes wrong with the escape out.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
also, side note, before we execute this plan, can Julie go to the bathroom? Because oh my god.
Sure.
Thank you.
Ooh, and wait a moment. Would Bless still work through the anti-magic field? I'm asking this out of character.
I mean, I don't think you necessarily know. Roll an Arcana check.
Let's see here. Let's be lucky.
Yeah,
Nope.
you're really unsure.
Well, you could still use Bless because we won't be going into the anti-magic field immediately. Hopefully.
All right then. So I'm thinking that Alcana would use Bless on those three.
Cool.
Can I see the card for Bless again? Yeah, I think I always mix up Bless and Guidance. All right, Bless up to 3 creatures. Whenever a target makes an attack roll or saving throw, target can roll a d4, add the number to the attack roll or saving throw. All right.
Yeah. Well,
There we
it
go.
only lasts a minute, so that's a problem.
Oh,
Well, I mean, if you. Hmm.
Hmm.
Like, do we know exactly how to get to that window? How long would it take to get out of the sewers and get to that window?
Maybe
you'll have to do a
minute.
bit of backtracking to get like back up to street level to a place where you can find, a point onto the level of the street.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Yeah, maybe a minute's not long enough, but
Yeah.
maybe we
I
don't
don't.
do Bless then.
I can take that back, right?
Yeah, I'll let you take it back because I didn't even know what it did.
Yeah, and I guess we
Okay,
probably
then.
won't be doing any saving throws. But or if we did, it would be helpful.
It was the thought that counts.
I know.
Exactly.
It was a good idea. But
It was a good idea, yeah.
yes, so I think that we know that we suspect that there's no anti-magic on the floor with the window. So I think getting in there with perhaps Notrix and Don might be a good idea, and just seeing what that panel is. Because a fairy
Yeah, like
isn't
me and
can't
you
do it
enter
alone.
through. Yeah, me and you enter through the window instead of like from below.
All
Yeah.
right, so Dawn and Notrix are heading for the window, and Logi and Alcana are both staying in the lower part of the sewers beneath the high security part of the prison.
Yeah, Logi
Yeah.
is sort of standing on the other end of that pipe that Don got out of from the elf cell, so that when he gets the signal, he can teleport in. And uh, I mean, Don would be able to tell him roughly how far it is, right?
Sure. Yay. He flew through the pipe.
Yeah, yeah, it can give you a sense of where spatially it.
But I'm only telling you in freedom units, okay?
Yeah, us dwarves are so advanced. We're the only ones that use metric.
Basically.
I mean, that might be true.
Alright.
The deepest
Is
of
it time?
lore.
So, anyways, it takes a bit of backtracking to find a place where you can reliably make your way onto the surface. Uh, just to make sure that we're averting catastrophe. Notrix, go ahead and make a perception check for me.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah.
Nice!
Notrix, you, opening up one of these sewer grates, have an easy sense of where everything is. The moon happens to be very full as you get out and search and see that everyone seems to be in, that there's maybe a bit of tension lingering after that odd proclamation from the Khazard warriors. But as soon as you get out, you see that the moon starts to lower in the sky. The shadows get long. It's easy to evade any attention. And you quickly find your way using what information you found to outside where you are certain that window is into the prison, right near the entrance to the high security section.
Alright, that's gotta be it. See that window?
Yeah. Oh, that was easy. But a human definitely
Alright.
can't fit through those bars, I'm guessing.
Not a human.
Hmm. Okay. And you're 100% sure that there's no anti-magic on the other side of that window.
100%.
Can you go check this right now? Because I don't want to crawl through and then turn back into a human halfway through and get cut in half by the window.
What, you don't trust me?
Well, it could have changed. The situation could have changed.
Alright. Don's gonna cast invisibility and fly up. And he's
Yeah.
gonna go through the bars and just kinda hang. Grab one of the bars and just kinda feel the air around the outside
Yeah,
or
yeah.
the inside.
No difficulty flying. Your invisibility holds. Yeah, it seems like here in this particular part of the prison, no anti magic.
Don eagle dives down, the little pro he is, and he says, alright, coast is clear.
Okay. So I think perhaps you can try and lift up the thing again, but instead of trying to lift it all the way, just lift it enough so a little spider can get in there. Maybe you can lift up just that much.
You mean the window?
No, the hinged box you were talking about.
Oh, right. Sure. Yeah, I can do that.
Because then I don't need to use another cast of wild shape to go through the door. Because that's also
We'll-
barred. Unless it's
We'll
not
try
locked,
that
which would
before
be
anything.
So is Notrix turning into a spider and catching a ride on Dawn, or?
I reckon so. Or climbing.
All right.
Whatever is easiest.
So, Dawn, you get Notrix just sort of crawling onto your little suit. You fly up there, still invisible, and over towards this panel. I want you to make another athletics check.
Go. Sorry.
And it's hard, but you manage to get it not open, but you at least manage to get a crack a couple inches wide, and you see that spider kind of scuttle off your invisible form, and underneath, Notrix, as you get underneath into the darkness of this space, you can see that there actually is what looks like a very heavy metal mechanism that seems to have an oddly shaped lever, almost as if it's meant for something to be hooked into it, that is currently set in the utmost position.
Hmm. Can
I'm
I?
gonna cast
Oh,
speak with animals and be like, "What's in there?"
there's a mechanism and a lever.
I knew it.
But the lever, it looks like it may need a key.
Uh-oh.
Going to check. And, well, does it look like the lever can be moved without the thing that you said hooks into it?
Make un make either an investigation or a perception check. You get the sense that it can be operated without that. It seems like almost as if kind of putting it together that probably something is discreetly inserted into this from below. There's some kind of tool that probably simultaneously opens this panel just enough and activates that lever, but that you could manually pull it if you've got enough strength behind you.
Hmm. Does it look like the box? So when it had hinges and everything, that's it looks like the box is designed to be open.
It does. There's a spring in there, but like it seems as if there's probably something like if you ever see a machine or like a flap on a vending machine service panel where it's almost like if you have the right tool it'll open and be activated in one smooth motion, and it's sort of like it's meant to only be open with that tool, but if you're actually in there you could easily grab what there is. It's that kind of a situation.
Okay. So we sort of went in the maintenance way, but in normal use, someone would just stick a thing in there.
Yeah, like there's some kind of tool that in one move kind of opens the springed panel and pulls that lever thing.
Okay. Well, there's a
As I
spot.
said, it's like more than 2.5 meters in the air, so not the
Oh,
kind of thing that you can usually reach.
I see. Well, that makes sense. Um, what does a spider have enough strength to pull this thing?
No.
Oh. Can I use webbing to create an intricate system of ropes and pulleys that will help me do this?
Man, I love that. So you start to cast these webs around this little chamber to help you out. You make these webs, though you still know you're not going to be able to pull it as a spider, but you think to yourself, maybe with this extra leverage, Dawn could have a shot at it.
Okay.
I was just chilling outside.
I guess uh, I'll try and lead um the webbing outside the hole at which the keyhole, and try and get Don's attention. Can I just go out the keyhole?
Uh, yeah, I mean, Dawn's still got the speak with animals up, so I'll say that with that, Dawn can also hear a tiny spider talking.
Hey, Don.
Yeah.
I put some webbing hooked up to the lever, but I can't pull it as a spider. Do you think you can pull it?
Yeah, I can. Obviously.
And I'll try and help for all that is worth.
Okay. Dawn is gonna grab the web.
All right,
Yes.
I would like Notrix to make an intelligence check and Dawn to make an athletics check.
Yeah.
Oop, that's an
Oh.
intelligence save.
Wait, that's a
Oops.
save, not a check.
Yeah,
I messed
make
up
that a
several
check.
things.
Yes, with both of you working together, with Notrix's insightful command of mechanics and Dawn's exerting his very strength to the utmost, you feel the thing and the lever inside chunk down. And Dawn, you can feel that there's still some give. You can keep pulling and chunk it down one more if you wish. What do you do, Dawn?
Here, I wish. I wish.
All right, you chunk it down one more time, and doom, you get it into its lowermost position.
Do we do it?
I don't know. Did anything obvious happen? Or
No?
Hold on. Let me test something out. Don's gonna fly over to the window, but then go right. And
wait! Don't go in there. I have a better idea.
what?
Wait. Actually, never mind. My idea wouldn't work. Go on.
Okay.
So you're going to the heavy door down into the high security section?
He's gonna not go too far in, but he's gonna maybe go down a few steps, maybe feel if he could feel some magical weakness.
Well, we'll see if the invisibility disappears.
Yeah. You slip through the bars, you're still invisible.
Ah. He flies back. It worked.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
So.
Here. Let's leave through the pipes.
Well, we're going. We need to go down. I think the next part of the plan is going down and, well, putting the guards to sleep, and then you go to a Logi and we teleport in.
Okay. Yeah, that works.
Yes, but let me just think for a second. What would be the best way to deal with the guard? Because he's probably the next big obstacle.
So here's the thing: the guard is really far away from Airs. I'm sorry. Wait, remind me of her name.
Airless.
Airless. Sorry. He's really far away from Airless. So part of me thinks that if Logi teleports in and teleports out, the guard won't even notice.
I have a lot of doubts about Ogre's ability to teleport in and out without being seen by the guard.
That's me. That's Logi. God. No, I'm kidding. Okay.
I'm just saying this
Alright,
guy is
you know what?
watching all the prison cells, and he's probably going to notice if a dwarf appears out of nowhere and takes one of his prisoners.
Okay. You know what? In that case, yeah, let me try. Let me first drop you off at Airless's cell. Then I'll try to cast sleep on him, okay?
Oh. Remember the last time you used sleep, it didn't immediately work. Like it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
I think, from my understanding of the sleep spell, I should hit him and then you should cast sleep on him. Because that would increase the chance of sleep working.
I like those odds. Alright, let's do it then.
I just need to figure out what to hit him with.
You got your staff?
Yeah, but this might be better ways. Oh, I do have Charm Person. That's...
Nah, we should knock him out.
Yeah, that has, not side effects, what's the word? Consequences. But,
Yeah. I see. So you're a spider, right? We'll go behind him. We'll sneak attack him. You'll hit him with the most powerful spell you've got in your arsenal, right?
no, not quite that, not that. But something.
Something that'll get him nice and hurt. Then I'll cast sleep.
Yeah, and then we
Got it?
tie him up with this rope that we all carry around everywhere.
Yeah!
Because you all have rope on us for some reason. Yeah, that's
Heck
adventure
yeah, we have
lifestyle.
rope. Alright.
Yeah.
You wanna do it then?
Yes. I believe we should go through this door and down the steps at the very least.
Okay. I hold up my arm and wait for little spider Natrix to climb up.
Yeah, quickly climbs up your arm, and you are still invisible here in this hall.
Alright. I'm gonna fly down to here, go through the door, and double check, just making sure nothing changes.
Nothing changes. You're still invisible. Notrix is still a spider.
Yeah.
Though, as you kind of catch sight of the guard underneath that lone torch, you can see he's not kind of lax and bored like he was before. He's holding his halberd upright, and he's kind of just got this far more discerning look on his face, kind of eyes darting back and forth between the two prisoners who are closest to him.
Don's gonna whisper over to Notrix. All right, we're gonna get behind him. You ready?
Can we get behind him?
Yeah.
He's kind of like sitting right there against the wall. Right above him is this torch.
You know what? Let's go. Don wants to go to this side of him. And
Okay.
I think that would be
Yeah.
a good place to attack him.
So, Don, roll a stealth check with advantage.
Advantage, stealth. Yay.
Yeah, you kind of flit over, kind of going slow enough that your wings don't create too much of a buzz. You get yourself over on this side of him, and you can see the guard now, the stubble on his chin, see the slightly jowly nature of his cheeks, though he does seem rather broad shouldered. He's kind of like thick but muscular.
And
How tough does he look? Does he look like the kind of toughness that would he's able to be sleeked?
He doesn't look like he's just, a regular schmuck who you put a spear into his hand and you put him out on guard duty. He looks like he looks a little tougher. He looks, well, like someone who'd be guarding the max security section of this prison.
I'll help you out too. Don't worry, buddy.
Let's see.
Like I said, strongest spell.
Strongest spell.
Strongest.
So I'm just worried that you're going to cast sleep and then nothing's going to happen if we don't, do enough.
I'll hit him with a poison spray too, just for good measure.
I do have. I should mention I have 3 different spells that I'm looking at here, trying to think. I have Charm Person, Blindness, and Hold Person. If you come up with any ideas involving those 3, just say.
I was thinking more like along the lines of hurting him, but
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to just like grab him, I guess that works too.
I mean, I don't really have hurting. If I hurt him, I'd really hurt him, and I'd waste my good spells on it. So I think maybe just moderately hurt him, just a light hurting.
Light hurt. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes you just gotta lightly hurt someone that they'll easily recover from. Think about it. We're doing this guy a favor. He's gonna get so much vacation after this.
Not sure how that works, but sure. Okay. So can Notrix come out of wild shape and cast a spell in quick succession, or is there do you think there's some sort of limitation on that?
I'll allow that, yeah.
Okay. Okay, I think yeah. I do that and Don sleep immediately. How do you think about that?
Alright, so what is Notrix casting?
Well, let's see. I could of course cast Blight, which does a stupid amount of damage, but
Blight.
that's my nice big spell sword, which I could use to help someone escape later with polymorph. So I'm just going to use Chill Touch.
Nice.
Alright, so suddenly, wait, is 14 plus 3, is that the attack?
Yes, but it's only 14. The plus 3 was if I had bless, and I accidentally left it on.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. That is just enough. So, as you suddenly burst out of your tiny spider form right next to him, he half gets out of, "Wah!" and this spectral hand appears in front of you, grasps him. You see a pulse of darkness across his skin as he takes 9 necrotic damage. And Don, what do you?
I cast sleep. 99, pal.
Oh.
And as you cast sleep, you see him kind of stumble for a second and then get on his feet. And he takes out his halberd and he is going to uh, let's see. I think he is going to first just attack right at you, Notrix.
Oh,
Yeah, it hits, I guess.
Yeah, he kind of slams his halberd into you, but as he does, he grabs what looks like this. It looked almost like like it would be a bundle of paper at his belt, but it actually, you see as he raises it, it is this slim horn, and he blows
I wanna.
into it. This
I think we failed
Poison
now.
spray sleep. Poison spray.
Oh, it's too late. We've messed up completely.
All right, Plan B.
This is
Turn
the
back
what-
into the spider.
That's the one thing we didn't want to happen. Can I use 3 foresight to undo this entire thing? Because that's the one thing I wanted to avoid. I came into this with one plan: use foresight if that happened, and that happened. I'm going to use foresight.
Okay, I'll let you use 3 foresight to undo this. Step back 6 seconds before, when everything was just so simple.
But I thought he would need to use an action to use a horn or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's almost as if prison guards are a custom monster that was statted to have special bonus actions.
Damn. I hate mechanics.
That's the power of homebrew, baby.
But yes, my
You know,
one goal in this
to be
entire
fair,
prison escape is to not have anyone blow any horns.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I'm using the same stat as some of the guards from the last prison, in which you may have noticed they were able to use bonus actions to ring bells.
hey,
Okay, but
you know what?
those
And
suck.
anyways, we are 6 seconds in the pass. You think to yourself, Notrix, of casting Chill Touch. You take a look at him and you think, nah, this is a beefy guy. That's not going to be enough to take down someone like this.
Here, I have a question. Are these walls between the cells transparent or
They're
solid?
bars,
Okay.
though it is pretty dark on that half of the of this prison. As I said, there's a torch over here at the steps. There's a torch here, and then it just kind of goes into darkness as you get all the way to this end of the corridor.
You know, might be changing the plans a little, but what if we just go into her cell and you cast that cloud spell on her?
Could do that if the anti-magic inside the cells is turned off.
Exactly.
But remember, well, actually, never mind. We don't remember anything.
True.
Because we weren't told about it.
Oh, I see. Oh, no.
Let me think. I just got to count my spell slots here. 1 second.
We could always blind him.
We could. That's why I'm counting spell
Blight,
slots.
blight.
If I do that, he is almost certainly going to die.
Good.
But
Actually, Notrix, I know you asked to spend 3 foresight, but since you used that immediately after, I'd say that's only 2 foresight.
okay, that's nice. Yeah, sorry about that. I just have a really strong conviction for some reason. I don't want him to blow a horn, so I wanted to interrupt there. So,
How much damage does this blade do? Will it really one hit him?
it does 88 damage, which is usually somewhere between 30 and around 30 damage, and then
That will knock him out. He's a beefy boy.
yes, I know it will knock him out, or it will definitely bring him down
won't
so
knock him
sleep can get him.
Yeah.
But if I do that, then I can't use polymorph later on one of the prisoners to help them get out.
But
I
what
see.
about foresight to restore spell slots?
That isn't a thing.
Yeah,
Is
that's
it
not a
wrong?
thing.
It's not a thing. And every
Then
time that
why
someone
isn't
was
it?
asked to do that, I've said that's not a thing.
But can it be a thing, please? Sorry, carry on,
No
my
thanks.
wayward. Carry on, my wayward sons.
Love you, baby. I say, honestly, man, it's dark over here. I say, screw the guard. He won't notice for a little bit.
Yeah, screw the
I
god.
think
Fine, I'm going to cast Blight. And let's see.
on the guard. Okay.
42 damage, there you go.
Okay,
And now
let
sleep
me
in.
let me make a Constitution save for this Mamma Gem.
Yeah.
As you poof out of your tiny spider form into existence, your hand reaches to his throat. Before he can even make a sound, that darkness pulses through him, and he slumps hard to the ground, blood dribbling out of his mouth, catching the orange of the flame above.
Sleep.
Uh,
I think it killed him.
yes, I possibly killed him.
Almost exactly, by the way.
Oh wow.
I want this.
Jimmy?
I want to let it be known that it was peer pressure. But okay,
True.
that was totally peer pressure.
Well, anyways.
Okay, I want to search the guard, I guess.
Well, yeah.
Okay, roll an investigation check. As you do, the long bearded prisoner, the way that he has been shackled up, he doesn't really have a clear view of what's happened. But you see the other one, the kind of built one, he finally gets up and leans on the bars and he says, "Holy shit! What the hell did you do to him? You gonna let us out, man?"
Well, I think I might, yes. Didn't come down here for nothing.
Yeah, it's all a mistake that I'm in here, man. They got the wrong guy. You find a small pouch of coins. You find a tiny horn. It's almost deceptive in how thin it is. You find a ring of keys, and with that investigation, I'd say that you quickly pick out which ones are like big and heavy enough to fit the locks to the doors in this section of the prison.
Well, Donna, I think you should go get Logie.
Oh, yeah, right. And Don's gonna fly straight down. And or yeah, screw it. He's gonna go to the closest pipe and just fly down.
So yeah, you go to the closest pipe and you fly down. It's still horrible. It's narrow enough that your wings don't give you a lot of help, but 30 seconds, a minute later, you emerge out into the sewers with where Logie is. Though meanwhile, upstairs, Notrix, you've got this one prisoner who's, muscular guy, short hair. Says, "Yeah, it's all a whole bunch of corruption in our doing. I'll put anyone in jail. I'm an upstanding citizen." And at this point, the other one, who can't quite hear or who couldn't quite see what happened, you hear his much weaker voice. "What? What's going on? Where's the guard?" What happened?
Well, if you be quiet, you might get out of here. If you make noise, you won't.
I. Did Willie send you?
No, he didn't. I sent myself.
And then there's a pause, and then he says, Are you a friend of Elena?
I I wouldn't say that I am, but I have heard that term before, and I'd say that I'm not an enemy of yours.
Oh, I'm a friend of Elena. I'm Elena's best friend. And I can, yeah, you take me
Ah,
to
shut
her.
up.
She can vouch for me. Hey, I'm just telling you, it's all a big mistake that I'm in here.
Okay.
All right. So meanwhile, several feet below, Don, you emerge out. Alkana and Logi, you see through your own meager torchlight this now just absolutely filthy, disgusting Don emerge once more.
The coast is clear.
Okay, so Logi turns towards the wall with the pipe, takes a deep breath, and is going to try to dimension door through. Poof.
All right. This is a low DC, but go ahead and make either a charisma or an arcana check for me.
I'm going to use one foresight to add +3 to that.
Can you do that after you roll though?
Yeah,
Can
I've allowed people to do that after they roll.
Oh,
Yeah, so if
okay.
it's terrible, do that, yeah.
Oh,
If it's like a 12, make that baby to
okay, so
15.
Arcana or Charisma?
Yes. Yeah, no problem at all putting together what Don told you. Poof, you are in this cell. You can see dimly at the edge of it a Notrix by torchlight with these two other prisoners kind of talking to him. But you look and you see this woman, white, ratty hair, sitting on the ground. She says, her first words to you are something in a language you don't understand. Then her eyes narrow. Now, what the hell is all of this? You are with the Fey creature?
Yes, I'm going to teleport you out of here, but I need your permission.
She hesitates for a second, looks back towards the other end of the hall, towards you. Well, it can't be worse than what's going on here.
Okay, so Logi, assuming this woman is sitting or something, and just reaches down with a hand to touch her shoulder, and then, casting the spell with like whatever arcane movements it requires with the other, he's going to try to teleport back.
Yeah, you teleport back easily enough. Alkana, you watch as Logi and this woman splash into the murky water around.
Oh,
Okay. So I'm going to reach out to
Then you did it.
the guy who said he was a friend of Elena, and I'm going to cast gaseous form on him. Well, before I do that, I'm going to tell him what I'm about to do because I should explain first and say, "Oh, listen, this is going to be a very odd experience for you, but it's the only way to get you out of here. In a second, you'll become a cloud, and you need to go down one of the toilets in here, and there's people on the other side who can help you."
I'm not certain about this.
Would you rather stay here?
Well, no, but I've never been a cloud before.
Well, it's a first time for everything, isn't there? Don't worry, it's not very difficult. You just need to think about floating along, floating down, and into the hole there, and yeah, you'll be fine.
Make a persuasion check. It's a low DC.
before he rolls a 1. Like
And
that.
he says, oh, I suppose. Okay.
Okay. And I'll cast it on him. And yeah, I guess that would get him out of the manacles if that's not a problem.
Yeah, his form turns transparent and then completely gaseous, flits away from the manacles. But you see, if a cloud can be trepidatious, this cloud seems to be almost, unsure of itself in the middle of the cell. And you hear from across the way, yeah, all right, all right. Now do me.
Just a minute, I need to make sure he gets to the other side first.
All right. Don't be long, though.
I guess I kind of need a signal that he's got to the other side. I guess, can Don help me there? Then.
Oh yeah. Once does Don see the other guy appear?
Wait, isn't Don, like, below?
Yeah, he's below with the Arcana.
Yeah,
And
basically, I
Logan.
want to make sure that I don't. I really want to make sure that I don't cast the spell while he's still in the pipe and he just gets crushed to death. So I want to know he's reached the other side.
All right. So it kind of takes a minute for this cloud to realize what it's supposed to do. You even have to uh, kind of compel him a little bit, point out the pipe a couple times, and finally it starts to flit through. And it takes a couple minutes, but finally, Don, you see this mist starting to fill this area where, you see that all of you are gathered, and Airless is just kind of coughing up a little bit and looking with a bit of reserve, a bit of caution at the rest of you. Finally, you see this cloud float fully into the space with you, but the cloud seems unsure what to do. If a cloud can seem unsure what to do.
Natrix, you okay?
I
being
think
kind of a weird
Notrix would
cloud
have a
right now.
better idea of what he was doing with this. Did he
Wait, this
bring
might-
someone else out?
Maybe? Might be a prisoner.
Um,
Let me go up. I'll be right back. And I'm gonna shimmy. Take
Yeah.
a deep breath.
Yeah, after another minute, Notrix, you see the truly foul, unpalatable form of Dawn flying towards you once more from the end of the hall.
Don's
Don.
like eyes are spinning. Yeah.
How's it going down there? Did he make it through?
Was that one of those prisoners? That cloud you sent
Yeah.
down? Yeah, it made it.
Okay. And I guess I'll go up to the other guy. And I mean, this guy might be a terrible person, but who knows? Do make him into a cloud as well, and I can tell you can go wherever you want to go.
Oh, yeah, thanks a lot, buddy. Thanks a lot. You touch him, he turns into a cloud. You see that cloud float out between the bars, and instead of going down the pipe, it goes up the stairs through the barred door at the top
Yeah.
and disappears from your sight.
Okay. And yeah, well, time for me to go down the pipes, wild shape into a spider, and I guess we'll throw and Don down.
Hold
And
your
that's
breath.
everyone.
yeah, that is
Yeah.
everybody.
Successful raid!
So, yeah, a minute later, both of you guys emerge back down into the sewers where I can eliminate this horrible.
I like your artistic skills.
But yeah, you see that um, sort of he stopped being a cloud as soon as you cast it on the other guy, and you see this prisoner in the uh, same just coarse brown linens as the elf, who kind of splashed with this water. You can see that in the light of your torch, the little bit of her skin that seemed kind of more of a peach color has the darker shade showing through.
So, looks like you did it. Well done, everybody.
Oh, well done indeed.
All right, so you are all working with this fey creature, and what I need to know is who are all of you? What is this?
Yes, I guess now that we're in a more reasonable environment, we can go through the introduction. I am not Trixer, the Druid of Gothics.
Her gaze turns to Logie now.
I am Logi, a dwarf of uh nowhere.
Her gaze turns to Alcana.
Arcana Theresis, Paladin of Ceradomin.
And I know you are Dawn. Who claims you besides the moon?
Xanarus?
Hmm. Then her gaze turns to the last one, the other prisoner. And what about you? What is your tie to all of this? He he kind of looks wide-eyed and kind of grabs his beard reflexively. I don't. I just. And your name? I'm Nathaniel Bacchus. Uh, I was in prison because, well, they don't like people like me spreading certain information.
Yes, well, we do have some experience with people calling themselves the Friends of Elena. But, well, and I don't. What is your name, Elf? Oh, sorry, I should just say Elf. That's kind of mean. But what is your name? Talking to her.
I am heirless of Clan Malier, and I came to this kingdom at great personal risk to myself because I knew that the humans here were doing something unfathomably foolhardy.
I
And well, I have seen no evidence that there is any attempt to roll that back.
Well, it seems that our collective suspicions that Cleanse might have been right. I don't know if we know of the same things as you, but well, let's just say we've certainly seen some grim things ourselves, and the picture was not looking good, though we didn't exactly have all of it.
I have been kept, you could say, isolated from what the uh, standard propaganda of the day is. I've heard it in bits and pieces when I've been paraded through the streets like an animal. You can understand that I've been a little bit reticent to share my insights with those who would put me in stocks. So,
Yes. Wait a moment. Would Elkanah be able to connect that this was the same elf her and Alistair saw coming back from the graveyard?
I think she would.
Oh yes, yes, I believe that I saw you actually. It was awful.
You were not one of the ones throwing rocks or fruits at me, were you?
No, I wasn't. I was just taking a walk with somebody.
Well, I am glad to have been able to add to the scenery.
Yes, I think you'll find that we're less, well, come up straight out, less racist than most people around here. It seems. No, we know better than to assume that all members of a race are somehow evil.
See, she runs her hand through her ratty white hair. I cannot completely blame them. If they were on the other side of the mountains, well, they would not reach a much better of a reception. I am of Clan Mailer, and Clan Mailer is being ostracized by the rest of the elves. though all else, it seems, are still despised by humans. The smoke. What does it mean to you?
That large horde every day?
Yes, there is a horn, there is smoke rising from Backstorian's old palace or whatever it is.
Well, propaganda would say that it is smoke from the crematorium, although, given this city, it is probably wise to ignore that. But
I
We-
don't
we-
know exactly what it means, but insight tells me it's a herald of some kind of danger, though. Sounds like you know a lot more about that than we do.
yes, and we've been finding references to smoke magic, well, in quite a few places recently. Yeah,
And dragons.
yes, so smoke and dragons. And Renier is planning to use some ancient smoke magic to try and improve people. Well, he wants to make them more like elves, apparently.
That magic is a lot older than this so-called plague that you have here. It is older than Backstorian. It is older than, well, anything that I know. This was here before Backstorian. It was something that he used.
Where did it come from?
I do not know exactly, but I know that Backstorian either fed it or used it. He brought something from the elven domains in the north from the Third Age. He brought this thing that should have been allowed to die, and he kept it alive here in his palace.
This wouldn't be the same thing that he bought from, well, the Garden of the Pentarchy, would it?
It is a tree.
You're kidding. And sort
I
of
do
with
not
that,
know all of the details. This is before my time, but my people have held on to the legends and the stories of what happened. At some point, his kingdom was brought low. His enemies were able to make use of what he had secreted away, but it destroyed them. Most of them, at least. And I think it could destroy you or Ardoin. I am not sure if you consider yourself as part of that collective.
How
I'm
would
an
it
outsider
destroy?
to our doing, but I have an interest in protecting the people of Gielinor.
Yes, I think we'd all like cities not to be destroyed.
And Nathaniel pipes up. And you say this is in West Ardoin, the old Backstorian's palace? Yes, underneath the city, somewhere. Oh my.
What are we supposed to do about this, though?
Well, there's your Nathaniel, your friends there. They're going under the city, aren't they?
So you do know Willie then?
It isn't. Well, we know him, but he doesn't know us. It's the kind of thing.
I might have followed your friends underground without them knowing I was there, but you know how it is.
Oh. Well, I don't suppose they could have anticipated being followed by a fairy folk.
No one ever does.
No, their plan is to. What they found was an old lead tunnel, a place where they could not be followed, where their machinations could not be divined. Something from Backstorian's day that would lead to part of the old works in his old palace underneath the city. They would use this to break into West, to rescue the people who are trapped there. They're worried, you see. We've been worried. We've heard rumors for quite some time about the, the inoculation starting, about the test centers. We haven't known absolutely everything about it, what it means, but we've had the sense that something terrible may happen to those still within the walls when the testing, when the vaccination, when the healing centers open, when that starts.
I mean, it all sounds very bad on the surface.
Yes, well, I uncovered evidence that, well, the Surgeons Guild is developing a procedure based on, well, the smoke. And this procedure is meant to help people, but, well, this might be the vaccine, but I'm not entirely sure yet.
The vaccine? There's nothing to make a vaccine for. The plague is a fake.
That's what we've heard from some sources, yes?
Yes, I know.
Sounds like a rather convenient excuse to seize control of the entire city.
We all suspected at first. Things were ahead years ago when it first started. There was the elves were attacking, the people were protesting, being enlisted into the army. The guilds were at an all-time high, undermining the crown, and it did seem far too convenient that suddenly we all need to band under the king. Suddenly, he and his new mourners have the only means available to keep us safe.
Hmm. Well,
Ugh.
that haven't stopped there. Every single law they announced after their recent council meeting, it was all about expanding their control.
Elena, she was a researcher. Originally worked under Mayor Bravek of the West to understand the plague. And what she found, a chemist, she found that there was no trace of the actual disease. And when she came to us, she said that she'd already shared it with someone who she thought was well placed to fight it, but that person was targeted by the king and assassinated. We were only common folk, but we could spread the word, find others willing to stand up. She disappeared only a couple of weeks after she first shared that with us.
She disappeared.
That doesn't surprise me. Everything else we've heard.
Yes, although she is still alive, she's she's on the list of possible test subjects for this new procedure they're planning.
Do you know anything more about this test, about what they're going to do to them, how they're going to test them?
Well, might have found something that, well, took an immense amount of serendipity to even make possible to know in the first place.
Yes, well, it's references to smoke. It's some kind of transformation process. It's a procedure. It needs a special built facility, which is why these inoculation centers might come into it. But yes, and Renier seems like he wants to be a progressive man, and somehow progress humanity through this use. But well, there is
That
one.
sounds like some. Sorry.
Well, sorry, there is one other thing, I guess. This tree, does it perhaps produce fruit?
It, as I understand, it did once when it grew where it was produced in Forinthry.
4 and 3.
But from
What?
everything I know, it never produced fruit when it was here in Baxtorian's palace.
And What is the significance of the fruit?
The fruit. I've never actually seen one of its fruits myself, but I understand it has some power, something linked to. Have you ever heard of Crymanth?
I have not.
No.
It is a power, something old, something older than the elves, than humans, maybe all life. We believe that Crymanth planted these trees, and that there's something in these fruits that it produces that are beyond a normal existence.
Hmm.
Well, this fruit. I don't know if the fruit sprouted again or what happened, but. Well, Renier has about a dozen of them. One of which was in the Surgeon's Guild and is a part of the process.
I believe that when the tree was planted in his palace, the goal was for it to produce fruit. That there were humans who were sacrificed to that tree to make it produce fruit. I do not know how this would produce some kind of super being or whatever it is you say that these surgeons are trying to do.
Well, maybe it won't, but
Oh.
that's what they believe it will do. But yes, these fruits,
Sounds
they
to
ended.
me like all of these folks are people who have more vision and ego than they do sense.
The fruits
Most
ended up
people
in
are
Zanash.
content to live a blissfully mundane existence. They're making their own ego and need to be somebody great everybody else's problem.
Yes. I was going to run, but to be honest, I think the rest of my clan has moved on without me. Going back home, I would likely face no better than I've had here. Bacchus, you say that your people are going underneath, are going to go into the city someplace where the guards and the rest of these knights cannot find them. That was the plan, yes. I want to see this pipe.
I think we'd all like to see it.
We could go
I'm
with it.
not actually certain of the way, though.
Can Don remember the way?
Dunn can remember the way.
Don raises his hand. Hey, I think I know the way. I can remember.
Oh,
Hmm.
well then. Lead on, small one.
Yes, indeed, Don, lead the way. Oh, and by the way, remind me that I owe you a nice big treat for all of the help you've done for us today, dragging yourself through the muck. This wouldn't have been possible without you.
Hey,
Yes.
thanks.
Speaking of that, Logie, do you think you could magic that problem away for us?
Don's eyes go wide. Please.
Sorry, what problem is it that you're dirty?
Yeah,
Yeah.
prestidigitation.
Oh yeah, yeah, I can use prestidigitation to clean you, I guess. Whoosh whoosh.
Just so we're like
Yeah.
civilized people again.
Yeah, you wave your hand, Logie, and Don, while all of the surface stuff is gone from you, you went through those pipes a lot of times. There's a little bit of it that's still kind of ingrained. You still got a little bit of a bad smell.
Ugh. Hey,
Well,
it's better than before.
we might have to burn those clothes later, but at least it's not your nice tuxedo. Well, maybe it is, I don't know. But we said we were getting changed.
Yes, if you need to have it replaced, I'll pay for it.
Thank you.
No problem, Don.
And Dawn sadly continues to fly. On our way to a pipe.
So you guys start working your way through the sewers. Don, a couple times you backtrack briefly, trying to remember your how this labyrinthine process went. But with a little bit of prompting from Nathaniel, you're able to, over the next hour, lead everyone else through the maze till finally you get to a familiar part of the sewers. You can hear that dripping of water from above, and you can see the architecture starting to change into these much older looking, much better crafted, finely fitted rectangular tiles. You know that you're close.
Hey, this looks familiar. Right over here. And yeah, I keep flying over.
Hold on, hold on.
What?
They have a lot of reason to be cautious. If you've only been watching them, I'd better be the first one they see. They may react unfavorably if several strangers suddenly burst in on them.
And understandably so.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nathaniel. Feel free to lead the way for us.
Although, your friends, do they have any strong feelings about elves in general, like the rest of the city?
Listen, we've been brought up all our lives with horror stories about the elves. But if there's one thing that all of this conspiracy and conflict has taught me, at least, is that you cannot rely on everything you hear. You cannot believe everything you read. There will likely be some caution, some suspicion, but I believe that they will accept you. You've given me far more insight on this than I've had in the past 4 years. And he kind of gives a little bit of an awkward nod and steps forward, calls out, Willie! Willie! You can vaguely see the shadows as there do seem to be lanterns and light within this pipe. And as you guys sort of venture closer, you can faintly hear the sound of what's like pickaxes or some kind of construction work going on. And one by one, these all stop. And you hear voices coming over to him. You hear sounds of sort of amazement, exultation that this person who they thought was as good as dead is alive. And finally, you hear him saying, I couldn't have, now, without the help of some fast friends of mine, they may appear unconventional, very unconventional, but they have been tracking this even more success, even more insight than any of us. And he calls out, It's all right.
Yeah, I guess we all walk on out.
Yeah.
Yes, you all walk on out. And as you do, you catch a better view of what's going on inside of this pipe. There are, at the far end of it, scaffolds. There is this very dense, dark material that the pipe itself is made of. Loki, you recognize it as being composed of heavy lead. Um, there are these big blocks of masonry that have been cleared out and that are sort of in piles all throughout here amid scattered like sleeping bags and tables and bits of equipment. Though at the far end, Logi, you do see a you see that part of what's been unearthed at the very edge, it seems past this pipe and past all of this brickwork that they've picked away at and mostly excavated, it gets into a different style of construction, what almost looks like a doorway that's been bricked up. That doorway carved out of this smooth white marble, and at the top of that lintel, a symbol is carved into it. A symbol that looks like this.
Well, now,
Ooh,
well, now.
Okay.
let me up!
How big is this pipe? How far would I have to go to get to that?
Um, this pipe is maybe about uh, it's pretty big. I'd say it's about 8 meters long, 3 meters tall, or 3 meters diameter.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think Logi's definitely going to notice that and probably take a closer look as soon as he can, but I feel like at the moment we're in, introduction mode.
Yeah, you see this guy who's there are several people. Some of them seem to be wearing these gas masks, not like mourner's mask, but like actually with a tube going to it and to a little like air bladder. Though they're taking these off. It's mostly middle-aged men, and there are a couple of younger people there. And there's one uh, sort of short, scrappy looking girl there, and but the guy who seems to be at the head of them, seems to be in charge, the main one that Nathaniel was talking to, is this kind of woolly haired man,
Yeah.
a round face, a bit tall. Notrix and Don, you both recognize him as being from that sort of event at Chambers boarding house at this point. Yeah, a week and a half, almost 2 weeks ago. He says, "Oh, so you are the people who helped Nathaniel here get out of the prison."
Yes, well, we told you we weren't your enemy.
Yeah, remember us?
Indeed.
"I think I do. And you've got an elf." "Appearances can be deceiving. I am certainly not your enemy. I cannot claim to be your friend, but I know more about what is beyond that door than anyone else in here." "Oh, well, I suppose that is not hard to believe." He extends out a hand. "Willie Dent. I You could say I lead the Friends of Elena." And yeah, introductions are exchanged, you know, all are introduced, but it seems like with Nathaniel's good word, that he's convinced that you guys are trustworthy. And he says, "Well, we weren't in a great place when you saw me last. It took us weeks to set up that heist. We had to drop it all down the latrine."
Oh yes, I saw that. I was wondering what it was.
"Potions, mourner potions. We were also trying to work out exactly what they do. I was going to bring it back to our chemist here, Johnny Two Times." You see the guy with a bit of a prominent nose and a widow's peak towards the back, kind of hold up a hand, and he says, "Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you."
Nice to meet you.
We were able to swipe them from the Grim Kennel."
Oh, so that was you, was it? I heard there'd been a break-in.
"Yes, I don't want anyone to get a hold of their materials. They'll learn that their so-called cures are fake and that their other tinctures do something else that they're not supposed to. Or the mourners they've developed all sorts of chemicals, all sorts of means of warfare."
Jeez.
Poor
That's
bear.
that's not fun sounding at all, to say the least.
We want to secret people out of West Ardoyne because, well, other access points through the sewers or through holes in the walls, none of those will work anymore. This is ancient, and this, well, it'll keep us from being detected by any sort of magic.
Ah, yes, the lead. That's an ingenious idea. But,
Oh, dang, I was
Yes, indeed.
doing my Willy voice and I slipped right back into my Nathaniel voice.
Oh,
And
yeah.
well, what we want to do it now is because there's more guard attention in the river ward, more at the front of there. We believe we need to get in now, or else, well, we've heard rumblings, big plans around the vaccine, some kind of a new project. And also, well, we know that Renier is illegitimate.
in what way? Like, his parentage is in question, or what do you mean by that?
Well, the writ giving him control, or giving him executive powers of the king. It's not right. We have another connection. She used to actually be a clerk in the Judicators Guild. Now she's joined the Blades of Camorra. She's the daughter of Mayor Breivik, bless his soul. He's gone now, but she was a clerk to, a Mr. Adrian Vold, a senior
Of
barrister
course
in the
it's him.
guild.
Of course it's him.
Well, Viscount Hallgrive, he was the guildmaster at that time, and he'd written this majority opinion, legal, that an eminent council could not assume the powers of the king, could not become an executive, could not act without the cooperation of all the other peers. And, well, right after that, before it went public, before anyone but, well, Hallgrive, Vold, and Bea Bravik were able to see it, he's suddenly murdered. They say it was by Vold. I have my suspicions.
How convenient.
Yes, how convenient indeed. In any case, I think you're right. We need to strike while the iron is hot.
Wait, how soon are you planning to go through that?
Well, as you can see, we've removed most of the masonry here. We believe we've only got a little bit further to go before we get underneath the walls and into, what would have been the old Baxtorian Palace. Uh, Now it's known as the. This is totally not your DM checking his notes because he forgot the name of a place. Now it's known as the old Saren Keep.
All right, so you're going in today, in a few hours. When?
We think we should be able to get in there, well, by tomorrow.
Okay,
Hmm.
by tomorrow. Right. I have to go. I have to do something.
Oh,
Yeah, right, man.
Yes, you okay?
Are you all right?
Yes. It's not very important. I won't be long.
Oh, okay. Well, we can rely on you, can't we? We're your allies, aren't you?
Yes, of course.
Well, yes, you can rely on us not to tell anyone you're here, definitely.
He looks around. He seems a little nervous. He's fine. You have brought Nathaniel back to us And as far as I'm concerned, that means you're good people. All right. Logi, you said. Well, I'll see you when you return.
Hmm.
Right. I'll see the rest of you as well. And he just runs off.
So I think I want to follow Logi here. So
That sounds
Logi,
like a
what
good
are
idea.
you doing?
Well, Logi is going to look for a Mr. Laysmith.
So you just like follow the path back that everyone took out of the sewers, and you head right towards uh, Mr. Laysmith. I believe that Alistair told you that Laysmith was staying at the at the uh, at the Dillendora house.
Yeah, okay. So Logi is going to head off there, and before entering, he is going to use Alt Self again to look like, what was it, Jacob? So
So,
let me just roll those.
well, I'll say this. You approach. Now, getting into the night, a lot of people are asleep at this hour, but you have come here late. You stop outside where the Dillendora house is. It is a nice building in North March, kind of these four spires marking a rather blocky structure, mostly inhabited by gnomes, but you can see the whole area around it heavily planted with trees. You stop in the shadow of one of these trees, but before you're able to transform, someone notices you. Someone familiar. Someone named Alistair.
Oh, never mind. Let me just get my hit points back.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, Alistair kind of looks at Loki. What are you doing?
I have to talk to. I have to talk to Sigurd.
Oh, you came here to see him too, huh?
Two?
What did you think I was here for?
Why are you here?
Because he and I are friends?
What? That doesn't. You just want to see him?
Yeah, I mean, he said that if I wanted to come hang out or talk about things, that I could, so I am.
Really?
Not like I had anything better to do. Got back to the hotel, to the tavern, inn, whatever that fucking place is called, and you guys were gone.
Yes, we uh we went and freed the elf.
Oh,
Just sort of says it under his breath.
good. Did she tell you about the whole, you know,
What?
he looks up at the tree that they're standing near. Trees.
She told you?
She told Akaranu.
Was that worsened?
Yep.
Of course it was. Well, yes, we need to act quickly. We're going to get in under the castle by tomorrow, and we have to stop whatever nonsense this is.
Right. We can talk about that later. He just got the notions towards the house.
Right. One moment. And now I'm going to turn into Jacob. But do I take the original rolls? Do I roll again?
The original rolls.
Like for hit dice, for how much damage I take.
Oh shoot! Yeah, that's you're using another spell. Sure. I think.
Yeah, so he turns, Logie turns again into a, what was it? A tan Patrick Stewart called Jacob.
Oh yeah, yeah. So, as two of you approach, Alistair, Laysmith had told you that he had sort of set up more in the basement of this boarding house. So as you walk along, uh, kind of around the edge of it, you can see almost like a storm doors on the side. You can actually hear him. Laysmith is not a guy with a ton of volume control, and so every conversation he has is sort of shouted. You can hear him saying, "Nine, nine, I am not actually doing work for Grim Kennels. Yeah, only competing for contract. No, no, only the Apothecaries Guild is ever recognizing my genius. And even they pass in the end. Nine, I am sorry, but I know nothing about the Kennel Master. You have to ask somebody else. I am sorry." And as you approach, the door kind of slams open, and you see a Laysmith sending the steps, sort of soot on his face. And you see a rather short woman standing behind him, looking a little bit at a loss at his very animated conversation.
Hey, Sarah, how tall is Loki?
He's like taller than the dwarf, but shorter than the human. So like, I don't know, like, how tall are dwarves? He's like
I think dwarves are probably like 4 feet in freedom units.
yeah, so he's probably like a head, or maybe a head taller than a dwarf, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, like just under 5 feet, or like 1.5 meters. A little under 1.5 meters.
So, yeah. Actually, surprisingly, this woman is even taller than you. And I was not sure that she would be.
Yes, although with Alt itself, I might be a different.
That is true, I forgot about that.
Oh yeah, yeah. You look taller when your self is altered.
So, anyway, she kind of, was she still at the bottom of the steps, or did she come up?
Yeah, kind of behind him, and you see that Laysmith isn't really looking where he's going, and then he turns around and says, "Ach, Oliver! I am wondering when you are coming back."
She, calls back up from the bottom of the stairs. Dr. Laysmith, I haven't finished asking you everything.
Nine, nine, I have no information, and I am very busy. Very, very busy.
Busy with what exactly? And she looks around the basement. Is there anything here?
Yeah, there is. He's kind of loaded it with what he considers his lab, but it's mostly just full of junk. And he, kind of pulls out of it. It seems like he was prepared for a longer stay in Ardoin.
Well, if you find anything out about him, just, you can find me at the Proclaimers Guild. Do you know where that is?
Yeah, Proclaimers Guild. Everyone here working for the Proclaimers Guild. I understand this. Okay, thank you very much. Guten day.
She kind of just walks slowly up the steps, very sad. She looks. She looks at the. Well, she looks first at you, Logi, and she looks where Alistair was standing a second ago, who has now disappeared. I thought I saw a second person appear. How strange.
Yeah, it's Oliver and ah, you. You are purchasing candy of cotton, yeah?
Yes, I did that. Was it yesterday?
Oh,
Or was it today?
It's earlier today, I
It was
think.
on the festival
earlier
day.
today.
Yeah.
Man.
Wait, what time of day is it
Long-
now?
Nighttime.
It is. Yeah, it is like close to midnight.
Man, everyone's still up.
Yes, I purchased some earlier today.
You are not having satisfaction. All sales, they are final, unless you still have the candy of cotton. And I do not think that you do. Or at least, not in a way that anyone else is wanting to eat.
Sorry. No, I don't have the candy of cotton.
Well, what are you coming here for? You wish to see more of mine inventions.
And you see him look a little bit sort of confused and uncertain for a moment before his expression, his face just sort of snaps into focus, and he goes, actually, yes, I am.
Ah, what are you wishing to see? I cannot show you the Force Blaster because that was under contract, and well, maybe I can show you it because it is pretty cool. But you must not tell others that I showed you it, yes?
Yes, of course not. And you said it looked like he'd been settling up to stay in Ardoin for a while.
Seems like it, with how much equipment he's moved in here.
Yeah, so as he's being led to be shown this blaster, he tries to sort of say sort of nonchalantly, so I see you're setting up shop here in this city.
Ah, I am being brought out here for contract work. I have a friend I am working with, but well, friend had an untimely passing, but I still. Humans, they are not having the same level of technology as dwarves. I can bring more wonder to more people here.
Ah, I see, but well, didn't you hear about the new laws? It seems like it's going to be a little bit more difficult around here in the future.
Ah, it is fine. I am cream of crop. Yeah, I am academic, a world leader, a thought leader. Yeah, there is nothing that I have that will make a problem for me. I need to get a vaccine. I get a vaccine. I am not a caster of magics.
No, you just make things instead.
Yeah. Now, you see him kind of pull one thing up. He says, and I have learned my lesson since last time I am using this. He calls out again, Oliver! you can see the shorter woman kind of standing a little bit, not quite awkwardly, but also sort of looking, seems to have caught sight of something towards the top of the steps. He kind of leads you back out into the night air. Nia, you are seeing where Oliver is going?
Did she?
I don't know, did she?
I mean, probably. He hit a little in a panic, so it's like he didn't exactly have time to do it well. So she probably noticed him pretty soon after she was wondering where the second person went. Yes. Yes, he is hiding around the corner for some reason.
Yeah. Then Laysmith, that's all he is, and he says, saying, Oliver! Oliver! I am going to be showing Mr. Sweet Tooth here the Force Blaster.
Ah, my friend, you probably... Oh, all right, I'll come see. He very awkwardly walks past her. I think you said her name was Nia?
And
And she kind of, she's curious now, too, about this Force Blaster thing. So, I think she'll come downstairs, too, actually.
yeah, and he kind of leads you a little bit away from the building to where you can see there's not quite a field, but more almost like an empty lot with a smallish tree in it. And he says, yeah, right here is where we are doing it. Ooh. And he takes this thing that almost looks like a gauntlet or some kind of a cylinder, almost like a framework of a cannon combined with a metal gauntlet, sticks his hand in it. He kind of opens one eye and looks down his arm like the barrel of a gun, pulls it, and there's this pulse of blue energy down it, and it shoots out of this force blaster, and it leaves this boom, big smoky black mark on the trunk of this tree that kind of shakes. Several leaves fall off, but the tree itself doesn't fall over.
I wouldn't do that again if I were you. Remember what happened last time?
Yeah, it is only demonstration. People, they do not come and see me and ask to see mine inventions as often as they should.
No. I suppose you're more recognized in Keldagrim.
Yeah, but ist uh, a mixed bag, you might say.
Ah, I see. You know, I uh, I uh, I know quite a few dwarves, if I might say so. Uh, so sometimes I hear a thing or two about what's going on in Keldagrim as they travel out and about.
Oh, you are knowing dwarves. I too am knowing many dwarves.
Yes, I suppose you must if you've lived there. But it was the strangest thing. There was apparently well, I suppose it's not very important in the grand scheme of things, but you know, one of these dwarves I know, he lives at, and Logi tells him the name of the street that Thrym and Logi used to live on. And well, it's the strangest thing. I heard that this blacksmith or this smith, he's what's his name? I think his name was Thrym.
Thrym. But uh, is it Thrymson?
Ah, I, I'm not sure. I caught the last name, but I, I suppose it could be.
I am knowing
I'm a
Thrymson. That is his street. He is mine cousin, but we are like brothers.
yes. Very interesting. Well, then maybe you'd know. Apparently, there was quite an uproar because apparently a son that he had came back to the city.
Young Logie?
Well, I didn't catch the name.
You do know anything more of this situation? What brought him back? Where he had gone?
No, just that he traveled around a lot, and well, his father seemed very angry. Well, that's what I heard anyway. They, I mean, you know how it is when people live in the same street. They sort of gossip and things like that. My friend Einar, he was just talking and talking about how no, it I didn't really pay attention, but it seemed like there was, you know,
But
no, seems like there was quite a lot of arguing.
Thrym, he is always over strict. He is fearing things of his own youth, but I should go back. But I have much I can work on here, much I can put together.
Well, if you if you really know this person, then well, maybe the things here can wait.
Roll a. And I can't tell if this is more of a deception or more of a persuasion. I'm going to say roll a deception.
Okay. Hang on a second. I want to double check the foresight.
What about foresight?
I just wanted to see because I can't quite. Oh. Deception, was it?
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay.
Would you prefer persuasion?
And I am going to use. Can I stack like the +3s from foresight, or is it just one?
You can stack them if you want to.
Yeah, so I'm going
not
to use
certain that you need to stack them, but you can.
Oh. Hmm. I'm going to use. I'm going to use the one.
Use what?
Use one at least.
All right. Yeah, so that's a total of 16 deception. But his grand reunion should be time of happiness. Thrym, I'd be so short-sighted. When I am coming here originally, I am saying to myself, it's only short time. But I cannot pack all of this up myself so quickly. I will need some assistance, someone.
Oliver just clears his throat very loudly.
Oliver, Oliver, days ago we are going out and drinking. Yes, I am showing you my inventions, and you are taking very quick interest in them. If you help me pack up my lab, then I will give you world class on the job training in what everything in here does. Yeah? It is better than a king's ransom. It is like unpaid internship.
Everything is better than a king's ransom, except maybe for salt in the wound. But anyway, I would very much like that, Dr. Laysmith. And even if you weren't going to do anything for me afterwards, I would love to do it for a friend.
Ha! Wunderbar, wunderbar. Okay, Mr. Sweet Tooth, um, I am thanking you
Well,
very much. What is that?
well, my name is not actually Sweet Tooth. It's uh, Jacob Luck Pickard.
Jacob Luck Pickard. Okay, Mr. Jacob Luck Pickard Sweet Tooth, I am thanking you very much bringing me this information. It is very much fortunate, it's very much serendipity that you are coming here today.
Well, glad I could help. Now, if you don't excuse me, I have things I must attend to.
Very good, very good. Intern, come. We have work to do.
Just a quick second. I think I want to have a conversation here with my new friend. He kind of points at Jacob. We did run into each other on the way over here, you know.
Oh, yeah, of course, of course. And he kind of retreats down the steps into the basement.
Alistair kind of turns towards him. What was that?
I'm getting him out of the city.
You lied to him.
Yes, I lied to him so he wouldn't stay here and be destroyed if this whole thing goes wrong.
But he's going to be going to Kildergrim, looking for you,
Yes.
and you're not going to be there.
No.
Why? There are other ways to get him out of the city.
Some random person he's never met is going to convince him to leave. No, he needed to have a reason, something that I knew would get him out.
Alistair is talking to you. He thinks that you two are alone, but you're not. Uh, oops. The little lady, she's older than Alistair, why am I calling her a girl? Walks over and says, excuse me, you two. What are you two talking about?
Oh, it's nothing.
And you, she looks at Oliver. Your voice. What's the deal with that? He looks away. Logie, you can see him sweating. I
What does this girl look like again?
Can you guys still hear me?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, I accidentally. Okay. She looks like a teacher. Honestly, she's wearing something you would imagine a teacher would wear, black suit, quote unquote, with suit pants, quote unquote, and she reminds you of yourself in height. But aside from that, there's nothing really special about her.
Okay.
She looks up at Oliver. Talk again, and this time use your real voice. Do we have to go through this, Nia? Alistair! I knew I'd recognize that voice. What are you doing back here? That is a long story. You know, it's funny. I ran into Fukuro just this way. Oh, you saw Fukuro. How's he doing? He's fine. He and I were on his island working together, installed a new con, stopped an invasion of their capital city. You know how it is. Ugh, you two have all the fun without me. Look, what are you doing here? I live here? You never told me that you lived in Ardoin. You never asked. He looks to Logie. He looks down to her, looks back at Logie. This is Nia York. She's a friend of mine from Earthwarp.
Oh. Oh. Nice to meet you.
Could you drop the... You know she can figure out, right?
Well. Oh. Okay.
Oh, Alistair. I can't figure out just anybody. My psychic powers don't work on just anybody.
Sorry, say that again?
I said my psychic powers don't work on just anybody. I have to have a connection to them before I can, like, read their mind. But even that only worked if they let me.
Oh. Cool.
Let me give you a little demonstration. Hey, Alistair. He kind of sighs and leans down so that she can actually reach the top of his head, because she's short. Ooh. Yikes. Prison. Man, you're a dick. I know that. Then why are you doing it? Because I don't want to be here. So then leave. Don't drag these guys down with you. The hell? Maybe I don't want to leave them here by themselves. Maybe I don't think they can handle themselves without me. You ever thought of that? Well, what are you guys doing around here exactly? I can tell from what he's thinking that you guys are doing a little bit more than just tourism. She kind of looks at Loki.
Yes, we're... And Logie's a bit confused about how much to say. Trying to stop some bad things from happening.
Ban things like what? Because I'm trying to do the same thing too, actually. See, there was this break-in a little while ago at the Mourner's dog kennel, and well, the guy who runs the place was pretty pissed. But he there was something about a rebel break-in. Do you know anything about that?
And Logie just looks at Alistair.
Alistair just nods.
It's it's within our, let's say, it's something we've certainly caught up on.
Ah, and what about the elf?
What about the elf?
She rolls her eyes. Yes, they broke the elf out. Oh my god, an actual elf! This is amazing! I'm totally coming with you guys.
Wait, what?
I've always wanted to meet
Did
an elf.
I? I think there has to be some sort of vetting process for this kind of thing.
What does that even mean?
I mean, you can't just. I mean, this is supposed to be a sort of mildly secret group, you know?
She looks up at Alistair like, dude, are you serious? Take her with you. I'll help your uncle pack up his workshop. Wait, you're his nephew?
Oh, can can we just not can we just change the topic of conversation?
Fine, fine. So, this elf, you know where she is?
Yes.
Great, great, let's go see her.
Right. You know, I met you probably around 15 minutes ago. So how about when we get close, I blindfold you so that in case you're an evil spy, you can't tell the authorities.
I mean, you can. The blindfold won't really do much, but you can if you want.
All right. Psychic powers. Well, it'll give me some peace of mind, okay?
Fine, fine. I can see why you hang out with this guy. By this point, Alistair's already walked away.
So, Logie, with this odd new elf fangirl in tow, you start with a bit of wariness making your way back towards the entrance to the sewers. But meanwhile, the rest of you uh, have spent some time down there learning a little bit more about the Friends of Alana, learning a little bit more about all of them, that they're mostly working class people, that they have a small network. But Willie Dent himself, who seems to be in charge, is he's an engineer and kind of is involved in the sanitation works of the city. Uh, Other ones in their group, key members, there's a demolitionist, there's the chemist, there's a very well built ex city guard. There's a failed apprentice wizard who has a little bit of magical training, but they also reveal that they have a few tenuous ties to the Blades of Komora. There's a small group of people within there that are sympathetic to their cause, but who remain secret because the Blades are still, ostensibly um, very much loyal to the crown. But while you guys are down here in this pipe and they're continuing to work away on this excavation, Dawn, Alcana, or Notrix, do any of you guys do anything?
I think that Alcana might want to have a brief conversation with Airless.
Sure, yeah. You see the airless is kind of when you approach her, you see that she's actually got a finger down her throat. You're not sure what's going on. She's and she coughs up this tiny fragment of crystal and quickly slips it into her uh, horrible prison linens.
Are you okay?
Yes, I am fine.
Ah, well, that's good to hear. She kind of ruffles around her hair, looks a bit to the side, and then just kind of looks at her like, well, I'm glad we were able to get you out safely.
That pleases me very much as well. Listen, I know I am very acerbic. I know that my own inclinations and my own first manners are not quite fitting what you follow here in the human kingdom. You understand, I have very good reason to be skeptical, but that does not diminish what you have done for me this evening, this day. It is something that I will remember, you, Dawn, and all of the rest of you. So let me apologize first and say that I do not intend to offend if I come off abrupt or blunt.
Oh no, I can completely understand. You've got every right in the world to be angry. You know, I almost didn't come.
You almost did.
Yes, let's just say that. Well, I can't talk about everything, but. Well, lately I found myself quite lost after my teacher suddenly passed. You know, thrown out into this brave new world, seemingly without hardly much guidance, but you know what? I let all of my fears get the better of me, and well, pardon the sudden personal talk, but I think in all of that I managed to forget the most important thing he taught me he, so quickly.
And what is that?
It wasn't necessarily anything he said, but rather something that his whole life spoke of. That you do right not because you're anticipating any reward. Even if no one knows you're doing it, no one cares, no one understands, or even go as far as hating you for doing it. And well, you you did that, and well, I'm honest. I wish I had half the courage that you do.
Life cannot be lived by following leaders, by following teachers, by expecting those you look up to be infallible or to guide you. This is, well, it seems perhaps more true both for this city and for the elves than it is for most.
Yes, I've seen that loud and clear. I guess it's just I knew I needed to step up. I knew that my path was a different one, but I used a lot of different excuses to try and run away from it. But I know I'm only 26 years old. I don't know much about the elves, and I know you live a whole lot longer. You probably have a lot more wisdom most of the time. I've just enough to know how much of a fool I am, but if there's one insight that I've taken from all of this, is that, well, they can take your world, they can take your heart, they can cut you loose from everything you know. But if it's your fate, then every step forward is another step closer to home. Well, I believe that'll be true for both of us eventually.
Eventually. If you've enough wisdom to know that you are a fool, well, then you've already much more wisdom than most people. I do not always understand human idealism, but if it leads you to be able to act, to do something outside of yourself, well, then, I think it is something to be commended. Life does not come with inherent meaning, but if we have the chance to do something, well, we define ourselves by whether we do it. It seems like everyone in here is doing just that.
And she nods. Well, Grace be to all of us in what's coming.
She kind of gives a little smirk, gives you a nod.
Sorry to
she-
bother you.
As you turn, you see she takes out the crystal and she starts gently kind of doing this chant that's a sing-song under her breath.
And yeah, I
All right.
guess with that, Okana would just kind of, you know, go back and maybe try to get more acquainted with other people before resting yourself up for what's coming.
Yeah, you introduce yourselves to them. As I said, the lead guy seems to be this one Willie Dent. There's Hubert, the demolitionist, Little Jean, the infiltrator, Johnny Two Times the chemist, Fat Frank, the guard, and Specs, the apprentice wizard, among a couple others. Dawn and Notrix do anything in particular, or they just lend a hand where they can?
I think Don would like check out a conversation with Willie, just talking about how like you know what, like I'm small, I can squeeze into little crevices, so the moment you guys make your way through that wall, I could scat out before, you know, we come raiding in. Stuff like that.
Well, that could be a useful thing. You know, this is only the second time I've ever had a conversation with a fairy. And the last
Second.
time was also with you.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure what we'll find on the other side, but if the sewers really are filled with smoke, whether from a crematory or a tree thing, well, we'll all have to be ready for it.
Is that why you guys got those masks?
Yeah, I think we should have just enough for everyone here.
Do you have a
Though
small one?
I don't think we'll have one for you. I'm sorry
Eh.
about that.
It's okay. Actually, you know, we might have something that'll fix that problem.
Oh. Well, I mean, do fairies need to breathe?
Hold on. Remind Julia. Do I need to breathe?
No.
Don doesn't, right?
Oh man, I need to double check, but Don, yeah,
Shit.
Don might not need to breathe.
Oh my god, it's so stupid. I love it. Don,
Don't
like,
quote me on that though. I need to double check it.
Unless you changed anything about the first thing she gets as a revived rogue, then yeah, she doesn't need to breathe. He doesn't need to breathe, sorry.
you know, I don't need to.
And then
sleep or
Julia
eat.
realized she doesn't need to breathe either.
Hold on. Let me test this. I hold my breath.
Your breath is held.
And Julia's gonna look this up, and he's not gonna stop holding his breath while he tests this out.
So I guess
Poor Wooly.
Yeah, did Notrix do anything in this couple of hours?
I was thinking you might come into this conversation here and just ask her, do you know around what time tomorrow? Yeah, you're gonna break through.
Oh,
In the
well,
morning or the evening?
definitely not morning. And to be honest, I think most of us are getting a bit tired. We'll probably be resting soon. I kind of lose track of what time it is down here. No, at least each day, I get at least one person going back and forth. But as for what hour it is at any given time, oh, it's difficult for me to say.
Oh, it's very, very late right now.
Ah, yeah, I believe that. I could probably use a rest. I suspect. Can't tell exactly how far we're through, but well, according to Hubert, he thinks that maybe tomorrow afternoon.
So we have time to possibly go out into the city and prepare, you say?
I'd say so.
Ah, then that's good. Good as well. We might need it.
I believe that. So, after a little while, you hear footsteps in kind of in the familiar sort of short gait of Logi, but there seems to be a second set of footsteps following him.
Yeah, yeah, and I imagine that Loki's spell probably wore off after he put the blindfold on. Well,
All
I don't
right.
know if it's been an hour, but I assume so.
Yeah, it's definitely your disguise is faded by now. So Logi, what does it look like as you approach this group once more?
Walking next to this woman, but he it's like he never looks straight forward. His face is almost constantly buried in his palm as he sort of rubs his forehead because this seems like such a mess.
And Willie, you see a couple of them have like these crossbows, like they do have weapons here, and just hold them in caution. He says, "This is another one of your friends."
I think she's a friend of Alistair's. To be honest, I'm not sure if this is a very good idea, but well, he seemed to trust her, and she seems fairly not exactly harmless, but not very harmful.
Oh, what's your name?
Nia.
And Logi unties the blindfold.
Yeah, Alice's friend?
Yeah, he and I spent some. Well, actually, we lived in the same house for 6 months, technically, but that was only because we were staying with the same druid.
Oh.
Oh,
I lean into Logi, and I just say, "Are you sure this ain't one of your weird friends? Like the old guy from
Zanash.
Zanash?"
No, she's a bit strange, but she's not, you know. And he sort of waves his hand semi-dramatically. Mysterious.
Alright, I get you. Hey! Name's Don!
Oh, a fairy. Alistair never told me he knew a fairy.
Man, he doesn't say a lot about me. To anyone.
Well, I mean, I just saw him again for the first time in 4 years, but unless he met you after that, but, well, from what I understand, he was moving from place to place, so.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it was after. I met him like maybe a year, 2 years ago? Year and a half?
Oh, I see.
So, Nia, tell me, what do you think about the Eminent Council?
Well, first of all, the plague might probably be a fake. She kind of whispers, not knowing that these people are the people who already know that.
Well, why do you think they might be faking the plague?
I don't know. I mean, it's possible that Rainier just wants the power, but I don't know.
Well, that's what we think too. Welcome to the Resistance. This elf over here
And
happens
she
to have
immediately
some.
runs over to the elf.
Ah,
She kind of just stands there looking up at her, almost blushing, like,
Yeah. Airless sees this person running for her, and she's been kind of chanting this whole time. And as she does, her eyes kind of get wide. She's taken a little bit by surprise, and you see the crystal in her hand suddenly grow and expand, within the space of a couple seconds into this large, semi-translucent shield.
Oh, sorry. I guess I did kind of look like I was going to attack you, didn't I? My bad.
Who are you? What are you doing?
I'm Nia, and I'm a big fan of elves. I never met one before, though.
I'm airless. I am a big fan of personal space.
Yeah, I get that. Sorry, it's just I'm kind of excited, you know. I mean, how many people around here have actually can say they met an elf? Aside from the people who probably arrested you for probably no real reason.
Yeah, don't worry. Meeting an elf gets old very fast.
Oh, I doubt that. But anyway, aren't you supposed to be being and she does again around her throat with the thumb.
Well, thanks to the people here, that will not be my fate this day. I am not sure if that will happen by some other means. What we are doing, I have to admit, is a bit foolhardy, but, well, it is better than doing nothing. I suppose if you are their friend, then I can extend you some trust.
She has this bright, stupidly bright smile on her face as she says that.
Still a fan of personal space.
Fine. She turns towards the rest of the other guys, not like our group. So wait a minute. The Resistance. Are you guys the one who stole the stuff from the kennel?
Indeed, that's us. We're the friends of Elena. Elena was well, I hope to say is, at least according to Notrix here. She's still alive, but chemist who discovered that the plague is fake, who was able to show us incontrovertible proof. Well, we hope to save our loved ones before something terrible can happen. Everyone here has someone they care about on the other side of that wall.
A chemist who found out the plague was fake. This feels familiar, but you guys really pissed off Marcus.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. Oh, the better we piss him off, the better for us, I say. Vargas is a savage, a criminal. If you've ever seen him at work, he's a psychopath.
Yeah, when he was talking about the break-in, I think he almost broke a few people's necks.
Yeah, those hounds. And as he says, those hounds, you hear like a wolf's call. And he kind of turns around. All right. All right. No one be funny, okay? And then you hear echoing off in the distance. This canine snorting deep sound. Says, his gaze turns to Logi. Were you followed?
No, why?
I need you to tell me, were you followed? Are you absolutely certain that you were not followed?
Why would anybody follow me?
Why would anyone follow anyone? People are paranoid in the city and they've got good reason for it. Or everyone, grab your weapons, grab your weapons. And you hear this snarling, echoing, unsure where it's coming from, except knowing that there's only one entrance from this pipe into the rest of the sewers. But whatever it is coming from there, and it's getting louder.
Oh,
Yep, O'Connor's got her shield and truth out instantly.
before Loki blindfolded her, did Nia see anybody following them? I mean, she does have not as high as Alistair, but a high passive perception.
What's her passive perception?
19?
19. Well, she was blindfolded, and I know that doesn't mean everything, but that's still
I
going
meant,
to.
well, I had said before because I don't. When did he blindfold her?
Before you went into the sewers, because he was still like had his disguise up when he blindfolded you.
Oh, okay. So before we got into the sewers, I guess.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So I don't think she would have seen anything. As you hear this, and you hear a splashing coming from the entrance of this pipe, you can hear the dogs getting closer. And then you see a shadow on the wall, kind of cast by one of the lanterns. It's right at the edge of this pipe, away from where all of you guys are standing. You hear a voice call out, "We're going to give you one chance to give yourselves up, lay down your weapons, come forward peacefully, and submit to arrest."
Do we recognize that voice?
You do not.
Oh, SpaghettiOs.
Okay, I think um before before they get closer, Logi is going to uh sort of walk up to a wall, and hopefully it's dark enough that he can turn invisible.
Yes, there are a lot of places where Loki can turn invisible in here.
What should we do?
Uh,
Kill everyone who comes through that door.
might have to.
And Logi, as you edge along the wall, you're able to kind of get closer, get a vantage point, and you see a couple of guards and a couple of mourners behind them, both holding these leashed, masked dogs, muscular, slavering. Then the guard who's out front calls out, um, "Going to count to 3. And if you do not submit by then, we will consider it an armed and violent resistance. 1, 2."
We're armed and we're violent!
Done!
Are you submitting? Are you submitting?
Can I prepare a spell?
Does it sound like it, buddy?
3. They're not submitting. Send them in. Send them in. You hear these dogs. You're not sure exactly how many, but more than 2, or at least 2, slavering as they're rushing forward. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and end this session